And a very pleasant good evening, everyone, and welcome to Cassville High School here at Wildcat Stadium. The Cassville Wildcats in their non-conference matchup for 2025 as they are hosting the Harrisonville Wildcats here tonight. We've got a gorgeous evening for high school football, and glad to be with you here on the Talon Network. Sammy Clapper alongside Jeremy Marple, Todd Speakman running the camera for us as always on CassvilleWebTV.com as we are getting ready for week number 5 of the high school football season. It's hard to believe that we're already halfway through the regular season, but week number 5 has arrived, and the Wildcats from Cassville playing the Wildcats from Harrisonville in the non-conference matchup here this evening. Well, we've been fortunate so far through the first half of the season, missing the raindrops on Friday nights. There were some teams had to play in the rain, but we have been fortunate with that, and now we get some nice cool temperatures once again, kind of back like we had the first couple of weeks of the regular season. Temperature was only about 80 degrees this afternoon. It's going to dip down into the 60s once the sun goes down. And the Cassville Wildcats glad to be back at home after a road loss last week at Lamar. Cassville comes in with a record of 1-3. Harrisonville comes in with a record of 4-0. And Harrisonville here in town. Cassville made the long trip up north last year. A tough loss on the road, 13-7 at the hands of Harrisonville up at their place. And now they make the return trip here tonight. Only one of the key players from last year is back. They've got a lot of new faces on the offensive side of the football, but they do return their quarterback, Levi Hall. He'll once again be guiding the Harrisonville offense.
Yeah, very important position to have some leadership and experience at, and we don't know a whole lot about Harrisonville, obviously. We can read who they've played. Last week, to me, seemed like a pretty impressive victory for them against Warrensburg. Good grief, yeah, against Warrensburg, typically a good football team, but Harrisonville got the W last week. The Wildcats have had chances in every game this season. They've gone to halftime in 3 of those games, tied, had opportunities, had chances last week, just were not able to capitalize, and that's kind of been the story this season for the Wildcats, just not able to capitalize when the opposition gives them a gift.
Yeah, we probably overused the word a little bit last week, but frustration was definitely the word of the day up at Lamar. So many opportunities there that Cassville had go against them, and Lamar was able to sneak away and get that last late drive that gave him the victory. And Cassville looks back at that. I'm sure they were reviewing film and thinking, man, if this would have just happened here, if we could have done that there, we could have picked up that road win. But now they're going to try to regroup and get ready to go against Harrisonville tonight.
It's all about execution. The coaches, they can put you in positions to make plays, but the coaches, they don't go out on the field and make tackles. So, the defenders on this football team, they've got to take ownership. And hey, you got to get better. This is week 5. It's time to flip that switch and play some football. This would be a great game for the Wildcats to play well and win tonight.
Well, we're going to jump into the Mercy Hospital pregame show. Mercy Hospital of Cassville, where your life is their life's work. And we'll start things off in the Mercy Hospital pregame with the field condition report, brought to you by Security Insurance Agency of Cassville. What condition is your insurance in? Are you covered for the hazards of weather or losses unexpected? Call 847-8384. That's 847-8384. Security Insurance of Cassville. Well, since the Wildcats were home last time, there's been a lot of rain in southern Berry County. Depending on where you're at down here, anywhere from 8 to 10 inches over the last week. But fortunate, yesterday the sun came out, helped dry things up a little bit. Today we had the same thing. And with all the rain that's happened, this field drains very well, and it looks to be in really good shape for tonight's ball game.
Well, this field for years has known it has a big crown on it, and that certainly helps a field drain. Field looks good. It's not chewed up from the teams out there warming up earlier. That's a good sign. Grass is short. Paint looks good. Field looks good. It's going to play good tonight.
And we've got some really nice weather for the football game here this evening as well, as Cassville hosting Harrisonville. Elsewhere around the Big 8 tonight, Monette's at McDonald County, Aurora's at Seneca, Lamar at Mount Vernon, and Nevada at East Newton. Of course, Nevada got the big win last week, handing McDonald County their first loss of the year. Seneca still remains unbeaten on the year. They're leading the Big 8 conference with a record of 4-0. But that Monette McDonald County, we're looking for some shootout points there as the Cubs and the Mustangs both much improved offensively this year. A lot of intriguing matchups all throughout the Big 8 this week.
Yeah, that one's going to be interesting. The Cubs put a lot of points up on the Seneca defense last week, but they gave up a lot of points last week. So we'll see how that one turns out down there at McDonald County tonight.
Well, the Cassville Marching Band is out on the field, so we're getting ready for the national anthem to be played. So we'll take a break and let you hear from our sponsors. Tonight's national anthem, though, as always, brought to you by Stump Realty and Auction Service. They salute all of those who have fought for the flag. They're locally owned. They specialize in real estate auctions. You can check their website for more information at stumpauctions.com. You can find out all their upcoming sales. There's contact information there as well. For your next auction, contact Stump Realty and Auction Services in Cassville. So again, we'll take a quick break and be back with more of the Mercy Hospital pregame show. Mercy Hospital, where quality care matters. Fans, when you attend a high school game, do you stand at attention during the national anthem? Do you cheer a good play by the opposing team? If your team loses, do you take it well in stride? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you're showing positive examples of good sportsmanship. Don't forget that when you attend high school athletic events, young eyes are watching you for examples of acceptable behavior. By making a conscious effort, you'll be helping our students grow into better citizens. This sportsmanship reminder brought to you by Access Family Care with locations in Cassville, Neosho, Aurora, Mount Vernon, and Joplin. We continue on with the Mercy Hospital pregame show, Mercy Hospital of Cassville, where quality care matters. Cassville Wildcats at home here tonight in week number 5, taking on the Harrisonville Wildcats. And Harrisonville, last year, as we said, defeated Cassville up in Harrisonville 13-7. The Harrisonville Wildcats come into tonight with a record of 4-0. They're ranked 13th in the latest Class 4 state football poll. They beat Richmond to open the season 49-22. Got behind Bolivar early on, but came back to beat the Liberators in week 2, 22-19. Richmond was in week 1, by the way. I correct myself. Then they beat Kansas City Center 2 weeks ago, 48-12. Last week, as Jeremy said, a nice win at home over Warrensburg, 35-28. So they come into tonight's matchup with a record of 4-0. And, of course, last year when Cassville went up to Harrisonville, that was the first meeting between the two teams since back in 2005. It had been 20 years ago, but now they've got the back-to-back thing going, and this all became on the schedule because of when the Big 8 dissolved the East and the West, and they went back to one division and all of that, and everyone was looking for someone to play. They found Harrisonville. So the Wildcats, kind of in a rebuilding program for them, they were back in the early 2000s perennial state champs.
Right.
For many years in a row. They won 4 out of 5 Class 3 state championships from 2003 to 2007. But last year, 6-5, and this year they've built on that, and they're off to a 4-0 start.
Yeah, they're taking care of business. They're 4-0, undefeated on the season. Now they've had to make a long bus trip down here to Berry County. So we'll see if that has any impact on their play tonight. My hope is the impact on their play tonight is from the Cassville Wildcats, and that the Cassville Wildcats go out and play good football tonight.
Cassville just 1-3, but the 3 losses, they've been in every one of those football games and had more than a few opportunities to come out with W's in those. And that's something you can't let yourself get down. You got to work on the positives and say, hey, just a little thing here, a little tweak there, and we could have 4 wins here in the season as well, because
Absolutely.
They were right there with Seneca, ranked number 1 in the state, only lost by a single possession, had some opportunities against McDonald County, and then we've already talked about what happened last week in Lamar.
Sure. There are no moral victories. So, there's wins and there's losses in this game, but the Wildcats have been in the games, and they will tell you they have not played their best football. They've got things that they're, sorely in need of working on, and they'll tell you that. But they are working on it. They're, practicing. They're grinding every day, all week long, to come out here on Friday night and try to put it together. And hopefully tonight's the night.
Well, it's time for tonight's Wildcat Keys to Victory, and they are brought to you by Heritage Tractor. They're your local John Deere dealer. They offer new and used equipment for your backyard, farm, and ranch. They've got equipment ranging from construction and compact utility tractors all the way to lawnmowers and recreational vehicles, and they work hard to find the right products for you. Stop by your local Heritage Tractor dealer or visit them online at heritagetractor.com. Well, this team, all of their running backs from last year graduated, and 2 of their better receivers. And I got to see a little bit of the film when they played Bolivar in week 2. They still have a lot of the same look to them, though. They still got their quarterback, Levi Hall, guiding the offense. They'll run a single setback a lot. They'll spread you out. They bring guys in motion. You got to be disciplined on the defensive side. They're not, it doesn't seem to be as big up in the trenches, so maybe Cassville can use that as an advantage.
Well, certainly. And we noticed that when we started kind of going over the roster earlier this evening. But, as far as I'm concerned, the key to victory for the Cassville Wildcats tonight, and it's one word, and it's tackle. Tackle is the key to victory tonight.
Yeah, because last week there were so many times where it looked like they had Lamar stopped and they were able to slip loose and get an extra few yards, and sometimes those extra few yards turn into first downs.
Well, tackling is a mindset, and they got to have a lot of want to play on the defensive side of the football. And if the Cassville Wildcats will tackle tonight, they get put in position to make a play. When you're in that position, make the play.
Again, the Wildcat Keys to Victory brought to you by Heritage Tractor, your local John Deere dealer with locations all around the area. It's a great time of year to buy a tractor. Stop in for great deals and low financing at Heritage Tractor. We're going to take another break. Be back with more of the Mercy Hospital pregame show. You're listening to Cassville Wildcat Football here on the Talon Network. Back in Cassville, we continue with the Mercy Hospital pregame show. Mercy Hospital, where your life is their life's work. It's time now for the Cassville Wildcats starting lineups. They're brought to you by Fast Trip. Whether for fuel, grocery items, fountain drinks, ice cream, snacks, or more, they have it all and at the very best prices. Fast Trip, 104 South Main in Cassville, locally owned by Mike and Anita Carr. On the offensive side for the Wildcats, at quarterback, it'll be Jaron Stearns. He's a 6-foot, 150-pound junior. Stearns has ran for 165 yards on the year, and he's thrown for 389 yards and 6 touchdowns. In the backfield, it'll be Mason Bryan. He has 104 yards rushing on the year. He's a 5'10", 140 junior, and he'll be joined by Easton Hughes, a 5'10", 185 junior. Hughes last week against Lamar ran for 2 touchdowns. Also, at wide receiver, it'll be Colton Roark. He's a 6'1", 185 senior. Roark has 233 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns. He's also got 2 rushing touchdowns on the year. And at the other receiver, it'll be Jaden Castleberry, a 5'10", 150 senior. Tight end will be Zach Myers, a 6', 200-pound sophomore. And the offensive line for Cassville at center, Isaac Looney, 6', 245 senior. Right guard, Ethan Sizemore, 6', 230 senior. Right tackle, 6'6", 300-pound senior Logan Williams. Left guard Gunnar Knight, 5'10", 230 senior. And left tackle Harley Madison, 6'4", 220 junior. Defensively for Cassville, at the tackles, it'll be Isaac Looney, 6', 245 senior. And Gunnar Knight, 5'10", 230 senior. Defensive ends will be Sky Yang, 5'9", 210 senior. And Zach Myers, 6', 200-pound sophomore. Linebackers for Cassville will be Easton Hughes, 5'10", 185 junior. Mason Bryan, 5'10", 140 junior. And Tristan Thompson, 5'9", 175 senior. At the corners, Mace Bredesen, 5'10", 150 sophomore. And Colton Roark, 6', 1 inch, 185 senior. The safeties, Camden Beebe, 5'9", 170 junior. And Carlos Barrientos, 6'2", 200-pound junior. Also in the secondary, last week at Lamar, Chance Freed got injured, but good news. Don't know how much he'll get to play tonight, but he is dressed out tonight, so that's some good news for the Cassville secondary with Freed dressed out and appears to be ready to go here this evening. Again, the Wildcats starting lineup brought to you by Fast Trip at 104 South Main in Cassville. Great prices and friendly service is what you'll find at Fast Trip. Stop by today. Locally owned by Mike and Anita Carr. Cassville captains gathering with head coach Clay Weldy, getting ready to head across the field and meet head coach Brent Maxwell and his captains for the Harrisonville Wildcats. Of course, Cassville, it's Colton Roark, Sky Yang, Tristan Thompson. They are gathering down on the sidelines with the officiating crew.
Isaac Looney joins them.
There he is. I was going to say, where's Looney? He just comes walking in there. Captains for Harrisonville, Levi Hall, I see over there. Also, Ethan Stone. We've got Tyson Wyatt Smith. And then one of the big linemen, Aiden Pickering. Harrisonville in their road white jerseys with blue numbers on the front and back. They've got the blue helmets and the blue pants. Cassville all decked out in the all black tonight. Black jerseys, black pants, black helmets. Gold numbers on the front and back, and the gold Wildcat on the side of the helmet. Tonight's coin toss is brought to you by the Clark Center. They have offices in Dade, Berry, and Lawrence counties. You can go to www.clarkmentalhealth.com to find the phone number for services in your area. Clark Community Mental Health Center, moving forward, improving lives and communities through compassion and care. Got a nice crowd gathering for this one tonight here in Cassville. This is the first of two in a row. Wildcats will be back at home next Friday night as we move into the second half of the season, and they'll jump back into Big 8 conference play as the Mount Vernon Mountaineers come to town. And then it's out on the road for two in a row to Nevada and to Monette, and then they close out the regular season here at home against the Aurora Hound Dogs. Right now, the conference standings, Seneca stands atop the Big 8 conference as they are 4-0. You've got Nevada and McDonald County both at 3-1. Nevada beating McDonald County last week. Then Lamar and Monette are there in the middle of the pack. And then you've got Aurora, Cassville with just one conference win along with Mount Vernon. And East Newton at the bottom of the Big 8 right now. They're 0-4. Once we get into the second half of the season as well, you'll start looking at those district standings too. Right now, Seneca's got a very comfortable lead in the district, but you've got Hollister, Aurora, and Cassville all jumbled up there in the middle, and you want to stay in that top half of the district so you can get a home game in the first round.
Right, that's huge, that home field advantage in the playoffs. Yeah, it's a race when you get to the second half, everybody jockeying for those positions.
Well, while they're out getting ready to take the coin toss, we'll go ahead and step aside one more time and be back to get ready for tonight's opening kickoff. Cassville hosting Harrisonville. You're listening to Cassville High School football here on the Talon Network. All right, Harrisonville has won the toss, and they have deferred their option to the second half. So they will be kicking off to the Wildcats to start tonight's football game. Cassville going to get the first crack at it offensively here momentarily.
No wind to speak of out there tonight, so it's not going to have any impact on the flight of the football.
Like last week, I should say, at Lamar, Harrisonville has one of their linemen doing the kicking, Elliott Stone. He's only a sophomore, one of their defensive offensive linemen. He'll be kicking off. And Camden Beebe and Colton Roark back deep for the Wildcats. Of course, Beebe's got a couple of kickoff returns for touchdowns on the season. Mace Bredesen returned to kickoff last week for a score up at Lamar. Just about ready to get this first quarter underway. Stone gets the whistle. Cassville going from our right to left as we look on here tonight. The ball is in the air, and the first quarter is underway. Andon Gautney fields it up around the 25-yard line on a short kick. And Cassville is going to get it. Looks like they're going to put it right at the 20, 1st and 10 Wildcats.
Right at the 25, I believe, Sammy.
Oh, yep, they are. He marked it out.
Just a pooch kick down there, keeping it away from BB and Roark. As they've watched the film, they've seen how the Wildcats do in the return game.
You're exactly right, the 25-yard line. I was looking at Roark back at the 20. So Gautney hauls it in. Cassville 1st and 10. They send twin receivers out to the right side. Harrisonville comes with a 4-man front. Jaron Stearns with Hughes and Bryan in the backfield. They give the ball to Mason Bryan. He's got a hole around the right end. Harrisonville comes in after he crosses the line of scrimmage and drops him for a short gain. So good job by the Harrisonville defense there to come in quickly. It's a gain of only 2, and it'll bring up 2nd down and long.
Well, split out wide right that time, Roark and Barrientos. They're going to draw some attention out there. Probably going to take at least 3 defenders out there with them. Wildcats run to that side, a little power football off right tackle. Not a lot of room to work, but they got some positive yardage.
Roark goes wide to the right. Castleberry comes out wide to the left. This time Stearns operating from the pistol. He brings Roark in motion, hands him the football. He breaks a tackle in the backfield. A flag comes out, and Roark scampers out to about the 34-yard line. But we've got a flag behind the play, and that's not in a good spot if you're a Cassville fan.
No, that's generally where you're going to see a hold.
Officiating crew discussing things back around the line of scrimmage.
It's a face mask on Harrisonville.
Oh, so ends up being a positive, not a negative. It's only a 5-yarder, but it goes against the Harrisonville Wildcats. Penalty drawn by Harrisonville is brought to you by the Rib Steakhouse. They're the area's go-to for steaks, barbecue, fish, chicken, and more. They're open Wednesday through Saturday, 3 to 9, with specials every night at the Rib.
Well, a little speed sweep there to Roark coming from right to left. He got the football, made a nice move as one of the Harrisonville defenders had shot through the line of scrimmage. Roark got a nice job to get around him and get to the corner.
Split backfield, Stearns back up under center, pitches the ball back to Bryan. He's got Hughes leading the way. He gets to the edge, a flag comes out. Bryan takes on contact and drives his way out to the 50-yard line to pick up a 1st down, but we got a holding call back behind the line of scrimmage. Well, now he picks it up and tosses it towards the line of scrimmage, but this one's going to be coming back. The 1st down run from Bryan taken away by the penalty.
Yeah, toss sweep around that right edge. Bryan lowered the boom right at the 1st down stake. Ran through the defender, all for naught, as this is going to be marked off maybe a yard deep in the backfield. So the Wildcats are going to go to work behind the chains now.
It's going to make it about a 1st and 20 now for Cassville. Just underway here in the first quarter. Tonight's first quarter brought to you by Michael's Hardware, located at 186 Sale Barn Road in Cassville. For your project questions, call Michael's. Serious, friendly folks in Serious Hardware. Stearns steps up in the pocket, pressure coming. A man wraps him up and drops him for a short gain. And the tackle made by Tyson Wyatt Smith. It's a pickup of only a yard, and it'll bring up 2nd down and long.
That Harrisonville defensive line really got after Stearns right there. He tried to set up a little 3-step drop and just had to try to take off, nowhere to go. A little self-preservation at the end of that play as one of the defenders had him around the foot, and as he saw the rest of the blue and white coming, he got down. Smart play.
2 minutes gone here in the opening quarter. Cassville with the opening drive of the night. Zach Meyer splits out wide to the right this time. Carlos Barrientos comes wide left. Stearns trying to bring a man in motion, and one of the defensive linemen for Harrisonville jumps. And they may have given Cassville a free 5 yards there. And they do. So that penalty against Harrisonville, once again brought to you by the Rib Steakhouse. They're open Wednesday through Saturday, 3 to 9, with specials every night at the Rib.
Yeah, nose tackle. Harrisonville's got a 3-man front there. Right over the football, and I can remember coaches getting pretty frustrated when your defensive lineman's nose is right over the football and they still jump.
He's a big guy, too, 6'3", 250. Bryan goes in motion. Stearns rolls that direction. Now he steps up, looks back down the middle of the field, overthrows the defensive backfield, and a catch is made by Roark down at the 30-yard line, finally drugged down from behind, down at the Harrisonville 20. Up and over the top of the defense, and a big first down for Cassville.
With another nice throw by Stearns there, and another really nice job of concentration by Roark. He was held, no flag on the play. He was able to rip away from the grasp, go out with his hands and catch that football, dropped right in there. Big play for the Wildcats.
It's a gain of 46. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in metal roofing. Look them up on Facebook or YouTube and call for a free quote at 888-364-9527. First and 10, Cassville at the Harrisonville 20-yard line. Back to the ground game. Stearns in behind a couple of blockers. He's wrestled to the ground, short of the 15. They'll spot him down at the 16 for a pickup of 4.
A little option game there. Hughes, the first man through. Stearns kept the football, went around that right side. That's okay on first down. 4, 5, 6 yards on first down. That offense can get in a flow.
Under 9 minutes now left to play here in the opening quarter. Cassville with the big pass completion to Roark. Set up inside the 20-yard line. Second down and 6. Man goes in motion. That's the tight ends. Resets around on the right side. They run the ball that direction. Mason Bryan with a nice cutback. Slices his way down to about the 10-yard line, maybe down to the 9. And that'll be close to a first down. We'll see where they spot the football.
Well, a little toss to Bryan around the right side. Got a good kick-out block there by Hughes. Stepped right inside of it. Made a spin move, and he's going to get the first down.
So it'll be first and goal Cassville at the 9. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in color selection. Check out their gallery at SuperiorMetalSalesInc.com. Barrientos comes wide left. Roark goes wide to the right. That's the short side of the field. Cassville from the right hash mark. Again, they bring in the man in motion. That's the tight end. He resets, hands it off to the second man through. Easton Hughes powers over a couple of defenders into the end zone. Touchdown, Cassville. Hughes got hit at the 5, got hit again at the 3, and just took on contact and drove it into the end zone.
Just refused to go down right there. Same play. They just flipped it this time. Mason Bryan gets the kick out. Hughes tucks up underneath it, and you said it, contact from 9 yards out all the way to the goal line. Great effort there by Easton Hughes.
A 9-yard touchdown run by Hughes. He had 2 touchdowns last week, gets another one here tonight. The snap was a little low, but a good job by Gottney getting it set up and on the tee. And the extra point kicked through the uprights by Preston Driscoll. And with 8 minutes left to go in the opening quarter, Cassville takes the lead 7-0. The Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance. For auto, home, health, life, and commercial insurance, see the folks at Willis Insurance on the square in Cassville and in Shell Knob in the Bridgeway Plaza. And the Wildcat extra point brought to you by Berry Electric Cooperative. Internet speed in Berry County is spelled Gobeck.
Well, great drive for the Wildcats outside of the holding penalty. Great way to start this football game. Drove it right down the field, mixed in the pass, and they lined up and ran the football in the end zone. Nice job.
So the Wildcats now set to kick it away from one Wildcat to another. Lane Stubblefield with Reese Nichols Realty wants to be your real estate agent. Check out all that Lane has to offer at lane.reesenichols.com. 9 plays, 75 yards. Took 4 minutes off the clock. Cassville out in front, 7-0. And now Cade Williams to kick it away. Back deep for Harrisonville is Deegan Beechner. And he's back there along with Braden Cannelby. And it'll be Beechner bringing it out from about the 10-yard line. Across the 20, across the 25, lowers the shoulders and pounds his way out to about the 27 or 28.
Yeah, fielded that kick high, end-over-end kick, fielded right around the 10-yard line. Nice return, but good coverage there by the Wildcat kick team.
It will be the 28-yard line where Harrisonville starts this drive, their first offensive possession of the night. And their senior quarterback, Levi Hall, he was the starter last year. He'll guide the offense. Hall at 6'1", 180.
Yep, athletic quarterback.
A lot of his weapons, though, from a year ago that he utilized, gone to graduation. They split the backfield on either side of Hall as he lines up in the pistol, and they send 3 receivers out wide to the left. In the backfield alongside Hall is Isaac Moore and Eli Torres, and we've got a delay of game against Harrisonville. They took a little too long getting the offensive set, and they get a delay of game penalty, and that'll back them up 5 yards.
Yeah, the receiver shift there. They took their time running from the right side of the field over to the left side, and play clock ran to 0.
And again, that penalty drawn by Harrisonville, brought to you by the Rib Steakhouse. They're the area's go-to for steaks, barbecue, fish, chicken, and more. Specials every night at the Rib. This time they split a receiver right and left. Now man goes in motion. That's Jackson Alvarez looking to throw. Pump fake now. He wants to go deep. The receiver cut off the route, and he overthrows the intended receiver. It goes out of play.
Yeah, it looked like they tried to do a little double move up the Harrisonville sideline. A pump from the quarterback, threw the ball deep. Nobody out there.
Yeah, Gavin Thompson, the intended receiver, he's got length, 6'3", 165 pounds, but he obviously wasn't on the same page as his quarterback, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 15. Again, tonight's first quarter brought to you by Michael's Hardware. Let them quarterback your project with the right tools and supplies for the job. Michael's, friendly folks, serious hardware. Now the quarterback Hall is up under center, and he'll hand the ball off to Torres. No, he pulls it back out of his belly, and he is wrapped up and dropped for a loss by Zach Myers.
Yeah, nice play right there by Myers, defensive end on this side, read the play, got a hold of the quarterback, brought him right down to the ground. Good play right there by the defensive end.
And that quarterback sack brought to you by Auto Body Solutions. From dings and dents to, oh dear, a major collision auto repair is what you'll get at Auto Body Solutions. They're located at the corner of 86, 76, and 37 in Cassville, and they'll treat you like family.
And here's where the Wildcats have struggled on 3rd down, getting the opposition into that 4th down, getting the ball back.
It was a loss back to the 21, and now on 3rd down and long, Hall fires it over the middle. The catch is made in traffic across the 35-yard line, but he's going to come up just short of the 1st down marker.
Well, pretty nice little play call right there, and just a bullet thrown out there and hung on to. Took a shot at the end of the play, but it's going to bring up 4th down still. But Harrisonville looks like they've got the offense in this 4th and 1 play call.
It's a gain of 16 on the pass completion to Striker Gilmore. 4th down and 1 at the Harrisonville 37. They overload the left side. They go unbalanced that direction. Levi Hall going to run in behind the blockers, try to pick up the 1st down, lowers his shoulders and dives ahead to the 40, and they'll move the chains.
Yeah, Harrisonville in a 3rd and very long situation. Complete a big pass, then a student body left right there headed towards that Harrisonville sideline. Picked up just enough for the 1st down. They stay on the field.
So 1st and 10 Harrisonville at their own 40. We're down to 6 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Cassville leading 7-0. Twin receivers right and left. Hall in the backfield with Torres. Brings a man in motion. That's Gilmore. He passes through. Hall drops back, looks to throw. Pressured by Myers, has to come out of the pocket, and he throws it away. Good job by Zach Myers. He's already got a sack, and that time he forced Hall to get rid of the football before he wanted to.
Yeah, Myers coming from the backside. Also, Sky Yang coming from that defensive tackle position got out there and forced Hall to get rid of that football.
Brings up 2nd down and 10 now for Harrisonville. The ball at Harrisonville's 40-yard line. They started this drive back at their own 28. Again, twin receivers right and left. But we've already seen Harrisonville utilize a lot of motion, and there comes a man in motion right now, and that is Moore. Hall's going to keep the ball, tries to get to the sidelines, turns it upfield, and races his way out close to midfield. This one's going to be close to a 1st down. It looks like he comes up just a little bit short. It's a gain of 9, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 1.
Well, Hall faked the pitch to his motion man going from left to right, and he took it himself on the counter around the left side.
Split the backfield this time. Hall up under center. And he is going to keep it. Picks up the 1st down into Cassville territory. Races down to the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 6.
Yeah, trying to run a little option play there, and the fullback actually lost his footing and fell down, so Hall just kept it himself, went right where the fullback was going, and they keep the chains moving.
Second 1st down picked up by Harrisonville here on the drive. They're into Cassville territory at the 45-yard line. Hall and Torres in the backfield. Gilmore comes in motion. Hall rolling to his left, pressure coming. He steps up, gets around it. Now he tries to dump off the pass. It's caught. No, he can't hang on to it. And that was Gavin Thompson, and he took a lick over there, and the ball came free.
And Ngotny, wide receiver just hung out to dry right over in front of the Harrisonville bench. And Ngotny came in and laid the wood to him over there. Big hit.
Okay, the receiver got up in the air and trying to secure that football, and Andy Gottney's just thrown his name in the hat for the hard hit of the night as he jarred the ball loose, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 10. 5 minutes left to go here in the opening quarter. Cassville leading 7-0. They go back with Torres off the right hip of Hall. Now Moore comes in motion. They run back against the grain. Cassville gets to the quarterback and drops him for a loss back at midfield. Another quarterback sack brought to you by Auto Body Solutions. They're located at the corner of 86, 76, and 37 in Cassville. Stop by and see Dool and the gang at Auto Body Solutions.
Van Thang, an undersized defensive lineman, just checked in the football game, showed his quickness, able to get through the line of scrimmage into the backfield. Nice play there by the 160-pound defensive tackle.
So it'll bring up 3rd down and almost 14 yards to go for Harrisonville. They're 1 of 2 on 3rd down conversion so far here in the early going. Hall hands the ball off this time as he gets the football into the hands of Isaac Moore. And Moore is able to only get ahead to the 46 for a gain of 3.
Yeah, interesting play call on 3rd and about 13 there. Hand the ball straight ahead. Offense still on the field.
4th down and 11 to go for Harrisonville at the Cassville 46-yard line. And the Wildcats jumped, did they? Yes, they did. Well, they give them a free 5, but it's still going to be well short of the 1st down. It'll bring up a 4th and 6.
Yeah, hard count. Wildcats being a little too aggressive right now. Got in that neutral zone. Pretty easy call for the official to make there.
This will be the 11th play of the drive coming up for Harrisonville, facing 4th and 6 at the Cassville 41. Cassville trying to get Harrisonville off the field. Drive started back at the 28-yard line. Twin receivers come wide to the right. Split backfield behind Levi Hall. He hands the ball off, and the hit is made right as he crosses the line of scrimmage. The ball carrier was Torres, and Eli Torres is brought down at the 38, and Cassville will take over on down.
Yeah, great job there. Again, option game, trying to run this time off the right side, and the Wildcats right there to stop it. Get Harrisonville off the field and bring that offense back on. Nice job.
So Cassville takes over at their own 39 with 3:26 left to play here in the opening quarter. Cassville leading 7-0. They go with the full house backfield this time. Wishbone formation. Stearns pitches the ball back to the tailback, and that's Colton Roark. Roark running over defenders, and he takes it out to the 50-yard line and picks up a 1st down, 11 yards on the carry, and the Wildcats move the chains.
Yeah, nice run there by Roark. Toss sweep, following those running backs around the left side, made a cut, saw a defender, got behind those pads, ran through him enough to pick up the 1st down.
Wildcat 1st down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in custom ag buildings. Check them out on Facebook and YouTube, and then call for a free quote, 888-364-9527. So Roark on his first carry tonight picks up 11 yards. He'll split out wide to the left right now. Jaden Castleberry goes wide to the right. Split backfield behind Jaron Stearns. Resets his tight end, pitches the ball back to Camden Beebe. Beebe hit behind the line of scrimmage, breaks off of that contact and picks up a couple of yards into Harrisonville territory down to the 48.
Yeah, a little toss sweep. Wildcats trying to attack the edge on this Harrisonville defense. Little toss sweep this time to Beebe. Took a shot right in the thigh, bounced off of it, was wrapped up at the line of scrimmage, got another yard and a half or so out of it.
2:27 left to go in the first quarter. Tonight's first quarter brought to you as always by Michael's Hardware at 186 Sale Barn Road in Cassville. They'll give your to-do list a game plan that's sure to be a winner. Michael's, friendly folks, serious hardware. Second down and 8 facing Cassville. Stearns looking to throw. He's got Roark one-on-one down the sideline, up over the top of the defender, makes the catch, breaks the tackle, touchdown Cassville.
You like your chances with Roark in a one-on-one situation out there, blanketed by the defender. Stearns puts the ball up. Roark wins the battle getting to the end zone, shakes the tackle into the end zone. Big time play there for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Roark's got about a 4 or 5 inch height advantage on that corner, striker Gilmore, and he timed his jump perfectly, went up in the air, took it away. Gilmore tried to drag him down, but he was able to break free from the tackle and into the end zone. And now the extra point by Driscoll is good. The Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance. They're one of the area's oldest businesses, established in 1887. They're on the square in Cassville and in the Bridgeway Plaza in Shell Knob. Stop by Willis Insurance, your trusted choice insurance agent. And the Wildcat Extra Point brought to you by Berry Electric Cooperative. Internet reliability is spelled Gobeck in Berry County. 48-yard touchdown pass from Jaron Stearns to Colton Roark, and the Wildcats from Cassville extend their lead to 14-0.
Well, great way for the Wildcats to come home and start this football game.
Took them only 3 plays to go the 61 yards and only a minute and a half off the clock. Cade Williams now to kick off. The Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Lane Stubblefield. He's your realtor with Reese Nichols Realty, and he wants to be your real estate agent. Find out more online at lane.reesenichols.com. Williams drills this one down the middle of the field, fielded back at the 13-yard line and brought out by Beechner. Tries to get to the Cassville sideline, wrapped up and dropped out around the 30.
It looks like they're going to spot it about the 31. Well, what you like to see out of this kick coverage unit, they're flying down the field, but rather than trying to make the big hit, they're breaking down and making sure tackles in the special teams. Nice job.
Just under 2 minutes left to go in the opening quarter. First and 10, Harrisonville at their own 31-yard line. Cassville with a 14-0 lead. Wildcats stay with the 4-man front. Twin receivers right and left. They keep them there now. No motion this time. Pass goes underneath. The catch is made by Isaac Moore in front of the Cassville bench. Quickly scampers up the sidelines out close to the 40-yard line. A good pickup on first down.
Moore just a quick little hook pattern out there in front of the Cassville bench. One thing you notice about Levi Hall, the quarterback of Harrisonville, is his arm strength. He's not lacking there. He throws bullets out there.
It's a gain of 9, second down and 1 for Harrisonville. A couple of backs in the backfield now as Hall drops back into the shotgun. He's going to run the football. He's got the option, pitches it to Torres. Torres trying to get to the edge and pick up the first down, and it appears that he did. He turned the corner and dove ahead out to about the 43 as Harrisonville picks up their third first down of the night.
Yeah, Torres took the pitch and immediately headed downfield, took some contact, but was able to maintain that forward momentum to pick up that first down.
Closing in on 1 minute left to go in the opening quarter. Cassville with a 14-0 lead. Harrisonville first and 10 at their own 43. Have to dispense with the Wildcats tonight because both teams have the Wildcat as their mascot. Levi Hall this time pitches the ball back to Torres again, and there's Easton Hughes, and then he is quickly helped out by Tristan Thompson. The two linebackers for the Wildcats converge on the running back and drop him for a loss.
And Zach Myers forced Hall into the decision. Very well defended by the Cassville defense right there. 3 defenders. Myers stepping up, breaking down, forced the quarterback to pitch it. 2 tacklers out there to bring him down. Nice job in the option game.
It's a loss of 2 back to the 41. It'll bring up second down and 12. Levi Hall with the running back off of each hip now in the backfield. Pair of receivers out to the left. He's going to run that direction. Again, they're running the option. He fakes the pitch and has his legs taken out from underneath him by Mason Bryan right at the 40-yard line. Another loss on the play, and it'll bring up 3rd and 13.
I'm not sure how Mason Bryan made the play. He had slipped, lost his footing, was just able to reach up as Hall tried to go over the top. Bryan's able to get an arm up there into the knee and drop him. Really nice play there.
That will be the final play of the first quarter. We'll step aside and be back with quarter number 2. Cassville leading Harrisonville 14-0. You're listening to Cassville High School football here on the Talon Network. Sammy Clapper along with Jeremy Marple back here in Cassville, and what a catch made on the first play of the second quarter by Striker Gilmore. He goes up in the air, snatches it out of the sky with one hand, and takes it to the house for a touchdown.
As good a catch as you'll see right there. He split the safeties, and just another bullet thrown down the middle of the field by Levi Hall. Striker Gilmore goes up with his right hand, one-handed catch in the middle of the field, hangs on, maintains his footing, and into the end zone. Huge play there for Harrisonville.
It was 3rd down, and they go in for the score and get their first points of the night. A 60-yard touchdown pass from Levi Hall to Striker Gilmore, and the extra point is up and good by Ethan Stone. So just 10 seconds into the second quarter, Harrisonville strikes, and they've cut the Cassville lead in half. Tonight's second quarter brought to you by Roark Diesel. They're located just north of Cassville on Highway 37. Find them online at roarkdiesel.com.
Boy, this game can change on a dime, can it?
5 plays, 69 yards, and 2 minutes off the clock for Harrisonville. And just like that, the big play has cut Cassville's lead back to 7. Cam DeBeebe and Colton Roark will drop back and await the kick. Elliott Stone teeing the football up for Harrisonville.
What a catch. That's a tough play. You know,
yeah, that thing
one-handed,
had some smoke on it too.
With some loft on it is one thing, but when it's a bullet out there and you reach up with one hand and go get it, that's impressive.
Little pooch kick this time. Andon Gautney again fields it, but this time he's able to return it as he brings it out across the 35, drop down just short of the 40. So Andon Gautney's been involved in both of the kickoffs. And that time it looks like he's going to be brought down at the 39, and that's where Cassville will start their 3rd drive of the night. Just underway here in quarter number 2. Cassville leading 14-7 now as Harrisonville scored on the first play of the second quarter. Cassville with possession at their own 39. They stay with the full house backfield. 3 backs, and they pitch it to Roark. Roark tries a little cutback move, breaks the tackle. He's across the 45 and dives out to the 47. Good pickup on first down for Cassville.
Yeah, nice cut there by Roark. They gave him the toss sweep around the left side, immediately put that left foot in the ground and went downhill, threw an arm tackle into the secondary. Nice gain there on first down.
It's a gain of 8, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 2 Yeah, that's one of those things you just having good field vision. The play was designed to go to the sidelines with the lead blockers. He saw a little seam open up and shot through it and picked up a quick 8 yards. They split the backfield this time behind Jaron Stearns. He hands the ball to the first man through. Cassville's got the first down. Good surge by the offensive line right there, pushing the defense back. The ball carrier was Easton Hughes, and he will pick up the first down on the carry. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in custom ag buildings, first in all your farm building needs. Find out more at SuperiorMetalSalesInc.com.
That's what you want to see out of your offensive line, especially in those short yardage situations. Good push up front, clearing some room for those backs.
It's a gain of 4, and it'll bring up first down Cassville at the Harrisonville 49. This time they come twin receivers to the wide side of the field. The ball is pitched back to Bryan. Bryan has to avoid contact in the backfield. Now the ball comes loose. Scramble for it. It's still loose back inside the 40, and Harrisonville comes up with it. Mason Bryan lost it, appeared to get it back, but then the ball popped out one more time, and Harrisonville comes up with a big Cassville turnover.
Yeah, there were some missed assignments up front there in the blocking scheme, and nowhere for Mason Bryan to go. And as the defender got there, he got his arm across the top of that football and was able to rip it away. And as Bryan went back to go get it, as he was diving too, Harrisonville defenders dove on top of him, squirted the ball on down the field, and Harrisonville comes up with a big turnover here in this one.
So 1st and 10 Harrisonville with the ball now at the Cassville 38. Fortunes have turned against Cassville here in the second quarter. Twin receivers right and left. They bring Gilmore in motion. He passes in front of Hall. Hall looks that direction, fires the pass, caught by Gilmore at the 35-yard line, makes a man miss, takes it inside the 30, and picks up a first down.
That's a long throw from the near hash. Throw that out route all the way across the field. Hall makes the long throw, throws it on a rope. Wide receiver makes a catch, hits the brakes. Couple of Wildcat defenders run right by. And downfield for the first down he goes.
It's a gain of 12 to Gilmore. He's Hall's favorite target so far. He has 3 of the 4 completions for a total of 88 yards and a touchdown. Hall again brings a man in motion. That's Gilmore. He's going to run to the wide side of the field, pitches the ball back to Torres. There's Mason Bryan, and then a big hit from the backside by Myers brings down Torres at the 25 for a pickup of only 1.
Yeah, Myers from that defensive end position running from behind the play. Put a big shot on the ball carrier, brought him down for a short gain.
2nd down and 9 now facing Harrisonville. Down to 9.5 left to go here before halftime. Cassville leading 14-7. Harrisonville trying to take advantage of the Cassville turnover. Cassville defense trying to come up with a stop and get the ball back. Hall is up under center. And we had movement in the backfield as a long snap count, and Torres couldn't hold his position, and he moves and picks up the penalty. Penalty against Harrisonville, brought to you by the Rib Steakhouse. They're open Wednesday through Saturday, 3 to 9, with specials every night at the Rib.
Yeah, false start's going to put Harrisonville behind the chains here.
That's already 4 penalties against Harrisonville here in the first quarter and not even a half.
About 9 minutes remaining till halftime.
So 2nd down and nearly 15 to go now for Harrisonville. Hall drops back into the shotgun. He's got Torres off his left hip, fakes the handoff to him, has a little time, rolls to his right. Now no one open. He's going to run with the football. Gets to the sidelines and takes on contact and is driven out of bounds. Picks up a pretty good chunk of it, maybe 10 yards, but it'll bring up 3rd and short.
Yeah, I got Tristan Thompson, Easton Hughes driving the quarterback out of bounds over on the Harrisonville sideline. And it's just one of those situations where linebackers are in coverage and watching Hall run out there. They can't leave their man and go get Hall because he'll just dump it right over their head. So they've got to stay pat, and Hall sees that, waits to the last moment, has a nice gain.
3rd down and 4 facing Harrisonville. They're 2 for 4 on 3rd down conversion so far here in the first half. They got a big jumbled up mess there at the line of scrimmage. Hall trying to find some room to run through it as Cassville's defense did a nice job of plugging a lot of those holes that Hall was looking for, and he comes up short of the first down. It'll bring up 4th down and 2.
And he comes up a little slow. He took a big shot at the end of that He's trying to walk it off right now. But you're right, the Wildcat defense just created a big mess of bodies out there, and Hall had nowhere to go.
They overloaded the right side, and it looked like they were just going to kind of do one of those student body rights and just everybody go surging forward. But Cassville did a good job of getting in there and mucking up the work. So 4th and 2. Harrisonville's already converted 1 4th down tonight. They're going to go for it here inside the 20. Quick handoff, and ooh, this one's going to
depend on the spot here.
Yeah, they're going to unpile those players over there. And I'm trying to see, did Hall keep it or did he give it to Torres? He did give it to Torres.
They're going
and we're going to have a measurement. It's been a while since we had a measurement. First down measurements brought to you by MetaPlansPlus.com. Eric Seifert, your local trusted licensed insurance agent for Medicare health insurance plans, dental plans, and much more. Find out more by going to MetaPlansPlus.com.
It's going to be very close.
They've got it at the 16. But was it a long 2 he picked up or a short 2? And they stretch it out. And it's first down by about the length of the football.
Wow.
Maybe not even the length of the football.
That's the second 4th down conversion that Harrisonville has had tonight. 2 out of 3, is that correct?
It's 2 for 2. No, that is correct. 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
2 out of 3,
They
yes.
turned it over.
Yes, they turned it over on downs. So 2 out of 3, yes. 1st and 10 at the Cassville 16 with 7:50 left to play here in the half. Cassville leading 14-7. Levi Hall looks to the right side. Now he's going to run. Cuts it back against the grain down to the 10-yard line. And a flag comes out late.
We'll see what this penalty is. Maybe a holding out here. Looked like Roark was basically tackled out there trying to make the play. We'll see.
It is a hold against Harrisonville, and it's about 2 yards behind where Hall ended up at the 10-yard line, and they'll mark the penalty off from there. So Harrisonville, another penalty against them, and that penalty brought to you by the Rib Steakhouse. Wednesday through Saturday, you can find specials at the Rib, 3 to 9, with steaks, barbecue, fish, chicken, and more. Moves it all the way back out to the 23.
Yeah, 7.5 minutes to go here until halftime. These are the situations this Wildcat defense got to take advantage of. I mean, they have had Harrisonville behind the chains a lot on offense tonight.
5 flags against Harrisonville for a total of 30 yards in penalties already here in the first half. 1st and 20. They load up the backfield with a couple of running backs and a slot back, and they bring the slot in motion. Levi Hall calls for the football. He's going to run that direction, trying to pick up a block, and Cassville's defense is all over him. They sack him back at the 25-yard line for another loss.
Easton Hughes is going to get credit on that, but Tristan Thompson, the first man there to slow down Hall. Both of the Wildcat linebackers flying to that football.
That sack again brought to you by Auto Body Solutions. They'll get you back on the road, so stop by and see Duel and the gang at Auto Body Solutions, located at the corner of 86, 76, and 37 in Cassville. They'll treat you like family. So right now, Harrisonville going the wrong direction. They're back out to the 25 after a 2-yard loss. 2nd down in a bundle with 6:35 left to go before halftime. They'd gotten the ball all the way down to the 16 before the penalties started stacking up, and now the sack and the loss on the play. Fire over the middle, catch is made by Gilmore. The defender fell down, and Gilmore walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Harrisonville.
Wow. Wildcat safety slipped and fell. Gilmore catches the ball and runs right by him into the end zone. Another bullet by Hall. Gilmore there on the slant route to make the play, and Harrisonville vying to tie this one up.
Gilmore turned around. I think he was looking to get hit, and there was nobody there because the defender had fallen to the ground, and he just simply went right down the hash into the end zone. The extra point by Ethan Stone is good, and with 6:22 left to play here in the first half, we've got a brand new ball game. 14-14 after Cassville had scored the first 2 touchdowns of the night. Harrisonville has answered with 2 scores here in the second quarter, and we've got a tie ball game. And Gilmore has had himself a half. 4 catches for 113 yards and 2 scores. Striker Gilmore only a sophomore, but he is already the favorite target of quarterback Levi Hall.
And for good reason.
Yeah, he's got some sticky fingers. He can hang on to the football, can't he?
Yes, he can.
Andon Gautney and Colton Roark drop back deep for Cassville, awaiting the kick of Elliott Stone. Cassville had all the momentum early on. Harrisonville's taking it away here in the second quarter. See if Harrisonville goes with the pooch kick. They've kicked it short both times. They've probably been seeing Cassville's got 3 kick returns for touchdowns on the year. This one's a little deeper. Roark's going to come up at the 22-yard line and bring it in from there. Reverses his field over to the Cassville sideline, gets across the 30, drugged down from behind, and we're going to have a horse collar. As Colton Roark had gotten around the coverage, and that was Malachi Bolin, and to keep Roark from turning it down the Cassville sideline and picking up a big return, he reached up and grabbed a handful of shoulder pads, and he's going to get drawn for the penalty.
And pulled him over backwards. That's the dangerous part of the play. But another easy call for these officials right there. I mean, right out in front of everyone. The Wildcats going to get great field position to start this drive.
They will be at their own 45 with 6:16 left to play here in the first half. Again, tonight's second quarter brought to you by Roark Diesel. They provide the area with a huge selection of diesel performance products. Call 847-6560. Cassville running the football. Stearns fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, takes it all the way down to the 41-yard line. A big gain on first down, and another first down for the Wildcats. And that first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first for all your farm building needs. Find out more online for examples of what they can custom build for you. SuperiorMetalSalesInc.com.
Well, really nice read there by Stearns. Almost, I think it kind of surprised him how open the edge was once he pulled the football out of the fullback's belly. Once he realized, hey, I got a lot of room out here, he takes off. Nice gain there.
It's a gain of 14 yards, 1st and 10 Cassville at the Harrisonville 41. Bryan and Hughes, or actually Beebe's back there with Hughes now in the backfield. They pitched the ball to Easton Hughes, and he has nowhere to go. Harrisonville's defense came blowing through on that play. And it'll be a loss of about a half a yard, and it'll bring up second down and long.
And Isaac Looney's coming over to the sideline, hobbled. Looks like he's got a left leg issue.
Yeah, I saw him go up to the line of scrimmage after the broke huddle back on first down before the run by Stearns, and it looked like he was favoring one of his legs. So, yeah, he's going to have to be checked out now by the medical staff. We'll try to see who the new center is for Cassville.
Looks like Isaac Hinbest.
So on second down and long, a flag comes out on the far sideline, and again, Harrisonville's defense stiffens. Short gain for Beebe of only about a yard. And a flag called against Cassville on top of that. So that'll back them up 5 yards. Third flag against Cassville for a total of 20 yards. And it'll take it back to the 47-yard line. Isaac Hinbest, the junior. Now be snapping the football with Looney on the sideline. Second down and 16. Stearns looking to throw. Pump fakes. Now he's going to go deep to Bredesen. Bredesen gets behind the secondary. The catch is made inside the 15. Finally brought down at the 10. Another big pass completion from Jaron Stearns to one of his receivers. This time it was Mace Bredesen.
Bredesen double covered down there. Goes up in between the defenders to catch the football. Really nice job by the young receiver.
They actually put him down at the 11. And it'll be 1st and 10 Cassville. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. Call them for all your farm or commercial building needs at 888-364-9527. Wildcats quickly up to the line of scrimmage. Handoff goes up the middle to Hughes, starts to the right, cuts back to the left, dives towards the goal line. Touchdown Cassville. Easton Hughes again finding a hole where there was nothing, and he takes it in for the score.
Yeah, tried to go off the right hip of the center and really nowhere to work. He does a nice little skip step to the left, sees some opening, stays on his feet. Looked like he was about to go down at the 5-yard line, stayed on his feet, dove across the goal line. Another hard run there by Easton Hughes.
Preston Driscoll in to tip the extra point out of the hold of Andon Gautney. The kick is up, and it is good, and Cassville's back on top, 21-14. Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance. In Cassville, located conveniently on the square. They also have an office over in Shell Knob in the Bridgeway Plaza. Call the Cassville office at 847-3300 or the Shell Knob office at 858-3747. The Wildcat Extra Point brought to you by Berry Electric Cooperative. If you suffer from buffering, call Gobeck. An 11-yard touchdown run for Easton Hughes, his second touchdown run of the night. Cassville's back up by a score, and now the Wildcats will be kicking off to Harrisonville. From one Wildcat to another, Lane Stubblefield with Reese Nichols Realty wants to be your real estate agent. Find out more online at lane.reesenichols.com.
Well, great answer for the Cassville Wildcats to take the ball down the field and get points. Just over 4 minutes remain here in the half, but Harrisonville had put 2 unanswered up, and the Wildcats able to take this one, go down and get an answer they sorely needed.
Cade Williams tees it up, set to kick it away. Braden Cannibly along with Deegan Beechner back, and it's Beechner that hauls it in back around his own 10-yard line. He's got some running room along the far side. Brings it out across the 25, across the 30. Finally knocked out of bounds just short of the 40-yard line, but we got a flag all the way over on the other side of the field. I mean, we're talking 30 yards away from where the football was. And we've got another penalty against Harrisonville as they continue to just self-destruct with the penalties.
But a block in the back, as you said, 30 yards across the field from the play. You know, those are certainly frustrating, but Cassville getting another break right here. A pretty nice return there by Harrisonville, nullified by the block in the back. So 4 minutes remain here until halftime. Wildcat defense got a little work to do. They're going to get the ball coming out after halftime. They sure need to get a stop right here.
Yeah, they spotted down back at the 17-yard line. It was about a 30-yard return, but all of that taken away. Harrisonville on first down at their own 17. Give the ball to the running back, Isaac Moore, and he takes it out to about the 19-yard line. Picks up a couple of yards, and it'll bring up second down and 8.
Yeah, Wildcat defensive line having a better half of football than we've seen from them this year, so that gut check, talk, doing some good out here tonight.
Eli Torres in the backfield along with Levi Hall. Hall looking to throw the football. Fires one over the middle. The catch is made by the big receiver, and that is Johnson. He's one of the returning starters from a year ago. Keller Johnson, 6'2", 210-pound tight end. They line him up in the slot a lot, though, and use him as more of like a wide receiver. He makes the catch, takes it all the way out to the 33, and picks up a first down.
Yeah, broke about 5 tackles along the way, too. To big, strong kid, tough to bring down. Wildcats finally do, but not before the chains move.
It's a gain of 14, first and 10, Harrisonville. Hall calls for the football, pulls it away from the running back. Torres keeps it himself. Around the right end he goes, and he slides down in front of Beebe, just shy of the first down marker, but a good chunk of yardage picked up. About 7 yards on the first down carry for Hall.
Little zone read there. Hall reads it pretty well, gets around that right edge.
Clock down to 2.5 left to go in the first half. Cassville leading 21-14. Second down and short facing Harrisonville. It's a high snap. Hall wanting to throw. Has a little time, rolls to his right, throws into traffic, back against the grain, trying to get it to Gilmore, and the pass off of his hands incomplete. Good coverage there by Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, Thompson right there with Gilmore. Ball thrown a little bit behind, falls incomplete. Nice coverage there by Thompson.
It'll bring up third down and 2. Harrisonville, after going 2 of 3 on third down conversions to start the night, are now 0 for 3, or actually 0 for 2 on their last 2 attempts. This one third down and short. They bunch up the backfield, overload the right side. Levi Hall up under center. And the handoff goes. Quick dive off right tackle. And the ball carrier, that time was...
It's a 4th down right here. Just over 2 minutes remain. We'll see what Harrisonville wants to do. They're right around the 40, their own 41-yard line. If they don't pick this up, Cassville certainly in quick strike range.
Yeah, it was a pickup of only a yard. I think it was Moore that got the carry. That's who we're going to give credit to. And it's 4th and 1 with 2:10 left to play here in the second quarter. Again, tonight's second quarter brought to you by Roark Diesel. Just north of Cassville on Highway 37. They're the leader in the region for diesel performance. Give them a call at 847-6560 or find them online, roarkdiesel.com. Timeout on the field is brought to you by Security Bank of Southwest Missouri. If you want mobile banking, ATMs, multiple branches, all types of loans, and still be able to go into the lobby and see your personal banker, you just described Security Bank. Take time out to look at Security Bank, member FDIC. Now, big play right here, 4th down and 1 at the Harrisonville 41-yard line. Cassville leading 21-14 with 2:10 left to go before the half. Cassville's defense back out on the field. Harrisonville now breaking huddle around Coach Brent Maxwell as they'll head back out onto the field as well. Levi Hall is all alone right now in the backfield. He's got trip receivers to the right. They're all bunched up over there on the sideline, and now Torres comes in motion. He'll reset on the left side of the Harrisonville offense. Quick pass caught by Gilmore, and he dives forward and appears to have picked up the first down.
Just enough. The ball was thrown about 3 yards behind the yardage needed, just kind of right down the line of scrimmage. Gilmore makes the catch, had to make a tackler miss, and dove, stretched the ball out, just picked it up. Dangerous.
So Harrisonville converts on 4th down. And Hall this time wants to throw again, but now he's forced out of the pocket. Has a lot of green in front. He launches one down the Cassville sideline, and it's intercepted by Colton Roark.
Wow.
He overthrew the intended receiver as he threw it up for grabs to Brody McNeil. It sailed over his head, and Roark, who already has a couple of great catches on the offensive side, comes up with a pick and turns Harrisonville away.
Well, we talked about how good the catch was Gilmore had on his first score. That catch right there was just as impressive as Roark tangled up with the receiver, able to reach back with the right hand, catch it, bring it into his body right at the sideline. What a play there by Colton Roark.
So each team has turned it over now, and Cassville takes over at their own 21 with 1:42 left to go here in the first half. Cassville leading 21-14. That's the first really crucial mistake that Levi Hall's made throwing the football. His throws had all been on the money until that one. Cassville looking to run the football on 1st down. Easton Hughes with the carry. He's stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Under a minute and a half remain here in the half. Unbelievable play down here on the interception.
And I don't think McNeil realized Roark was right off of his hip like that, because it's almost like he gave up on it. He just was going to let the ball sail over his head. And when he did, Roark didn't give up on it at all. He stayed hustling after it and was able to get the nice pick. Pitch goes back to Easton Hughes, trying to get to the edge and shed a tackler, and he is drugged down from behind by big Garrett Paris. And it'll bring up 3rd down and 11. It's a loss of about a half a yard.
Yeah, trying to run the toss sweep. Hughes just not able to get to the edge. Wildcats weren't able to get that kick out block, which is hugely important on that particular play, and nowhere for Hughes to go.
Down to 30 seconds left to go before halftime. We'll see if Cassville wants to run one more play. Looks like they're going to try to run this 3rd down and 11. Barring a defensive penalty or somebody going out of bounds, this will probably be the final play of the half. Trip receivers to the right. Stearns is looking at direction, launches it to Roark into triple coverage. Roark makes the catch at the 45. He's off to the races, down the sidelines. Touchdown, Cassville. Unbelievable.
Again, great throw by Stearns. He threw Roark towards the middle of the field. 3 Harrisonville defenders out there. Roark races towards the hash. He was outside the hash. Races towards the hash, catches the football, dead sprint, right in stride, and outruns the rest of the defense into the end zone. What a play.
80-yard touchdown pass from Jaron Stearns to Colton Roark, his second touchdown catch of the night. And now the extra point by Driscoll is up, and it is good. 14 unanswered by Cassville. Turnaround 14 unanswered by Harrisonville, and then closing out the first half, 14 unanswered by Cassville once again, and they lead it 28-14.
Unbelievable. Again, great throw, but you got triple coverage out there. Stearns threw the ball to the inside, not to the out. If he throws the ball to the towards the sideline, it's going to get knocked away. He throws the ball towards the hash, towards the middle of the field. Roark reads it in the air and just outruns the coverage to the football. Had one man to beat in the end and outran him to the end zone. What a play.
The Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance, conveniently located on the square in Cassville and also in the Bridgeway Plaza in Shell Knob. Willis Insurance, your trusted choice insurance agent. The Wildcat Extra Point brought to you by Berry Electric Cooperative. Your business needs Go-Back. And now Cade Williams to kick it away. The Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Lane Stubblefield with Reese Nichols Realty. Find out more online at lane.reesenichols.com. Squib kick down the far hash, and it's scooped up back at the 24-yard line. And the return man brings it out across the 30. I think that was Beechner. And that will bring us to halftime. Boy, we have had some fireworks here in the first 2 quarters. Big plays, a couple of nice drives, and as we head to the locker room, Cassville leads Harrisonville 28-14. We'll step aside and be back with the halftime show. You're listening to Cassville High School football here on the Talon Network. Back with you at Cassville. We are at halftime. The Cassville Wildcats leading the Harrisonville Wildcats 28-14 here at the break. Role models are more important than ever in today's society. You can serve as a role model for others the next time you display good sportsmanship at a high school athletic event. Good sports are winners and are also vital to preserving our fine sports traditions. So the next time you attend a sporting event, remember to be a good sport and help rekindle the spirit of citizenship. This sportsmanship reminder brought to you by Access Family Care with locations in Cassville, Neosho, Aurora, Mount Vernon, and Joplin. Well, what a first half we've had here tonight in Cassville. The home team scored the first 2 touchdowns of the night. 8 minutes left to play in the first quarter. A 9-yard run by Easton Hughes that capped off a 9-play, 75-yard drive, got Cassville out in front, 7-0. Then with 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter, a 48-yard pass from Jaron Stearns to Colton Roark, and Cassville led 14-zip. But then on the first play of the second quarter, Harrisonville struck on a 60-yard pass from Levi Hall to Stryker Gilmore to cut the Cassville lead in half. And then 5 minutes later, a 25-yard pass from Levi Hall to Stryker Gilmore, and we suddenly were tied at 14. But then 4:11 left to go in the half, an 11-yard run by Easton Hughes. A 5-play, 55-yard drive gave Cassville the lead once again at 21-14. And then in the closing seconds, facing 3rd down and long, Cassville goes up top, an 80-yard pass from Jaron Stearns to Colton Roark, and extra points by Driscoll, tacking on the PATs every time, and Cassville with the 28-14 lead at the break.
Yeah, quite a half of football. I tell you what, the people that are in this stadium tonight are getting their money's worth. A lot of big plays, a lot of things going on. I tell you what, one of the things that I appreciated, we've talked, and I've probably been pretty critical of this Wildcat defense through 4 weeks. Tonight, not perfect, but so much better than what we've seen early in this football season. And as the half ended, this crowd let that team know with applause how they appreciated their play here in the first half of this football game.
Looking around the rest of the area, we'll check out the Jimmy Mitchell Motors scoreboard. Jimmy Mitchell Motors in downtown Aurora. They are your Ford dealer located at 555 South Elliott Avenue. You can also find them online at jimmymitchell.com. That's Jimmy, M-I-C-H-E-L.com. Down in McDonald County, Monette has a 30-6 lead over the Mustangs late in the first half. Down in Seneca, the Indians lead Aurora 27-7. That score also late in the first half. Other second quarter scores, Mount Vernon a 7-0 lead over Lamar. That game in Mount Vernon tonight. And Nevada on the road leading East Newton 7-0. Marionville at home against Diamond 42-0. That game just turning into the second quarter. And Skyline at home leads Pierce City 6-0. Again, the Jimmy Mitchell Motors area scoreboard. Jimmy Mitchell Motors in downtown Aurora. Find out more online at jimmymitchell.com. 28-14, Cassville leading Harrisonville here tonight in Cassville as the marching band for the Wildcats to entertain the crowd here at the break. We're going to take a break as well, let you hear some more from our advertisers and sponsors of Wildcat football, and we'll be back with more of the first half numbers. You're listening to Cassville High School Athletics here on the Talon Network. Sammy Clapper and Jeremy Marple alongside Todd Speakman back here in Cassville. We are at halftime. Cassville leading Harrisonville 28-14. Tonight's broadcast brought to you in part by Four State Dental Care. They are building beautiful smiles in Southwest Missouri with three locations to best serve you. They have in-house insurance and benefit plans that ensure your smile will be beautiful at an affordable price. Four State Dental Care. Looking at some of the stats from the first half with Cassville leading 28-14. We'll start with we'll start with the visitors. Harrisonville, 18 carries for 50 yards. They completed 7 of 12 passes for 138 yards for a total of 188 yards of offense. Harrisonville picked up 9 first downs. They turned it over once on an interception. They were penalized 7 times for 50 yards and did not punt the football. Cassville, 14 carries for 72 yards. Jaron Stearns, a perfect 4 for 4 for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns. A total of 282 yards of offense for Cassville. They also picked up 9 first downs. They turned it over once on a lost fumble. They were penalized 3 times for 20 yards, and Cassville did not punt the football. Individual numbers, quarterback for Harrisonville, Levi Hall, carried for 37 yards on 10 carries. And Striker Gilmore has 5 catches for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns here in the first half. Cassville's leading ball carrier was Easton Hughes. He has 23 yards on 6 carries and 2 touchdowns. And Colton Roark, 3 catches, 174 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mace Bredesen, 1 catch for 36 yards.
Yeah, just crazy statistics in this half of football. Seeing some pretty outstanding performances by two good receivers, one for Harrisonville and, of course, Colton Roark for the Wildcats. And, hey, Stearns putting the ball on the money. And, 4 for 4 for 4 completions for 210 yards.
Yeah, both quarterbacks really doing a nice job slinging the ball around, and their 2 favorite targets is doing a nice job catching it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, sophomore for the Wildcats, Bredesen, making a big-time catch in double coverage as well. So, receivers, quarterbacks got to do his job, but the receivers have to do theirs, and they're doing a good job out there tonight.
Cassville leads it 28-14 here at the half. Glad to be with you tonight here for Wildcat football on the Talon Sports Network. We're going to step aside, let you hear some more from our sponsors of tonight's broadcast, and we'll be back with more as we continue on here with the halftime show from Wildcat Stadium. Sammy Clapper and Jeremy Marple back with you here in Cassville. Cassville leading Harrisonville 28-14 at halftime. Both teams have made their way back out of the locker room, getting ready to start the second half. But before we get to the second half, it's time for our Silver Dollar City giveaway. We've got a one-day pass for two that is good for the rest of the 2025 season. So if you want to go down to the fall festivals that's going on this month and next month, whether you want to go to the Christmas celebrations, November and December, this is a one-day pass for two to Silver Dollar City, and it's good till the end of the year. It's brought to you courtesy of the Talent Sports Network, Silver Dollar City, and the Children's Smile Center in Aurora. They've teamed up to send you on a Silver Dollar City adventure. Thousands of local families covered by Medicare have been turning to the Children's Smile Center in Aurora for many years to get quality dental care for their children. And if your child is covered by Medicaid, contact Children's Smile Center in Aurora for an appointment. They'll treat you like family. All right, get your dial-in fingers ready. You're going to have the phrase that pays once again. If you have previously won, please don't call. You only get to win once throughout the season. And, yes, we are keeping track of who has already won, so just in case. But, again, this is a one-day pass for two to Silver Dollar City. The first person through, and you must say what I'm going to let you know here in just a minute. That number, 417-489-2277. That's 489-2277. Well, prior to last year, you have to go back 20 years when Cassville and Harrisonville got together prior to last year. Last year was the renewal of Harrisonville and Cassville in the Battle of Wildcats from way back in the early 2000s. Now, they had met in 2003 in the playoffs. They had met again in 2005 in the playoffs, but then they hadn't met since until last year when Cassville made the trip up to Harrisonville. So I need you to say 2005. That was the last time Cassville and Harrisonville had played each other prior to last year. So all you got to do is be the first person through on the phone lines, 489-2277, and say 2005, and you get that one-day pass for two to Silver Dollar City.
Can I say 2005?
Well, I guess we could use any variation. 2005,
2005.
2005, 2005, however you want to say it, but get that 2005 in there. Be the first person through on the phone lines, and you get that one-day pass for two to Silver Dollar City.
Great. Good luck.
Yeah, it has been a very popular giveaway, and the phones get jammed, so be patient because we have had people call in and get through, but then they either can't remember what they're supposed to say or they say the wrong thing. So don't get frustrated. You can be the second or third caller, and you still might get in and get the prize.
Or they jump the gun before
they know. Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
Trying to be sneaky.
Well, Harrisonville had won the toss, and they deferred their option to the second half, so Cassville will be kicking off to start the third quarter. Wildcat Kickoff brought to you by Lane Stubblefield with Reese Nichols Realty. Find out more at lane.reesenichols.com. And we've got a catch by Beechner.
Beechner went down to his knees to catch the football. Line drive kick right at him. Caught the football on his knees. Going to be right there at about the 11-yard line.
Ooh, so a mistake by Beechner there. Pins his team deep, and he's had a couple of pretty nice returns tonight.
Right.
But that time he let his knee touch the ground.
Cassville defense coming out on the field to start this third quarter.
Well, both teams have picked up the majority of their offensive yardage through the air tonight. We'll see if the second half continues like the first half. Levi Hall from the pistol. Hands the ball off. Ball carrier starts to his left, cuts back to his right. And that was the running back, Isaac Moore. And he fights his way out to the 14-yard line, picks up 3, and it'll bring up second down and about 7.
Moore trying to cut back on the run there. Nice job by Tristan Thompson. Also Van Thang in on the tackle.
Twin receivers right and left for Harrisonville. Moore remains in the backfield along with Levi Hall. Cassville stays with the 4-man defensive front. Hall looking to throw down the line of scrimmage, and the receiver tried to run with the football before he secured the reception, and that was the big guy, Keller Johnson. It bounced off his shoulder pad incomplete, and it'll bring up third down.
Yeah, we see that a lot at all levels, really. Just at the last second, you take your eyes off the football to see where you're going to go, and the ball falls incomplete.
So third down and nearly 8 to go for Harrisonville. The ball just inside their own 14-yard line. Just underway here in the second half. Cassville leading 28-14. Hall with Moore behind him in the backfield. Gets the snap. He's going to run the option. Tries to pitch it. He gets the pitch complete, but then Moore has his legs taken out from underneath him.
Flag in the end of the play coming in. Barry Entos made the tackle. Tristan Thompson forcing Hall to pitch the football. Nice job all the way around, blocking the illegal block there by Harrisonville. That's going to bring a fourth down deep in their own territory. The Wildcats going to decline the penalty. And
yeah, it was a loss on the play of a yard, so they're going to decline the penalty. And Harrisonville right now lining up to go for it at 4th and nearly 9 inside their own 15, and they get Cassville to jump.
Cassville jumped, but the left tackle looked like he may have jumped for Harrisonville as well.
And which way are they going to mark it off?
I think it's against
They're talking to Cassville's captain right now.
Yeah.
They're going to mark off 5 yards against Harrisonville. That penalty against Harrisonville brought to you by the Rib Steakhouse. For the best steaks, barbecue, fish, chicken, and more. They're open Wednesday through Saturday, 3 to 9. Specials every night at the Rib. So that's going to move them back to the 8-yard line, and now a little quick kick by Levi Hall. It's a high kick and a short kick. Bounces towards the Cassville sideline and then turns and rolls out to the 43-yard line, but Cassville's going to get it with great field position.
Zach Myers nearly blocked that punt. Got back there, got a hand over the football, nearly getting it. Did a nice job to avoid the punter, but he nearly blocked the football. Wildcats going to get it in Harrisonville territory. Great field position to start the first drive of this second half.
And that forced punt brought to you by Four State Dental Care. With 3 locations to better serve you, they have in-house insurance and benefit plans that ensure your smile will be beautiful at an affordable price. Four State Dental Care. 1st and 10 Cassville at the Harrisonville 43. Wildcats split the backfield. Handoff goes to Hughes, bounces off one man, bounces off another, and then is brought down for a loss back at the 45.
Yeah, trying a little power football off the left side that time. Really not much push up front this time for the Wildcats. That Harrisonville defensive line, linebacking core all over Houston Hughes. Isaac Looney back in at center. Still visibly hobbled. I don't know if that's an ankle or what. Looks like it may be taped up a little bit, but he's uncomfortable trying to fight through it out there.
2nd down and nearly 12 to go. Stearns hands the ball off. Right tackle. Quick dive by Easton Hughes. He picks up only 1 to the 44, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, not much on the first 2 plays for the Wildcats here. 10 minutes on the clock left in the third.
So Cassville facing 3rd down and 11 at the Harrisonville 44-yard line. Cassville leading 28-14. Couple of minutes gone here in the second half. They keep the backfield split behind Stearns. He's under center now. The snap comes between his knees. The ball is loose, and Harrisonville recovers. A low snap. Stearns couldn't gather it in, and it was Ethan Stone diving on the loose football, and he takes over possession for Harrisonville.
Well, not what you want in your first series of the third quarter. I don't know. It just looked like Stearns really never had a handle on it from center and fell right down. He tried to go down and fall on it. He was hit. Ball squirted on out, and Harrisonville comes up with a huge turnover.
Second turnover of the night against Cassville, both on fumbles, and Harrisonville takes over at their own 47. Levi Hall fakes the handoff to Moore, pitches it to Torres, and Torres has got running room around the left end as he takes it all the way down to the Cassville 44-yard line, comes up just short of the first down.
Boy, Torres is quick. I mean, when he got the football, he hit that second gear and got around that left edge over near the Harrisonville sideline. Looked like Mason Bryan was going to be able to make a play in the backfield on him, and he just hit the jets.
It's a gain of 9, 2nd down and 1 for Harrisonville. Hall with the quarterback keeper, dives in behind his center and picks up the first down. It's a pickup of 2 for Hall. He leads Harrisonville with 39 yards rushing, 1st and 10 at the Cassville 42. Hall up under center once again. And he fakes the handoff. It looked like he wanted to pitch the ball, but the Cassville defense is all over him. Has a good job by the Black Shirts getting into the Harrisonville backfield, and they drop Hall for a loss.
Yeah, it looked like he wanted to hand it off to his fullback, but he slipped as he took off and just wasn't there for the handoff. Hall tried to make something happen. And Sky Yang able to get to Hall, wasn't able to bring him down, but he grabbed a hold of that leg, didn't let him go. And his teammates came to help out.
So 2nd down and a long 10 after the half-yard loss. Hall drops back into the shotgun now. And he has Torres back there blocking for him. He's going to run to the sidelines and is driven out of bounds by Tristan Thompson. Picks up 2, maybe 3 yards.
Good pursuit out there by the Wildcat linebacker. Thompson working his way all the way to the Harrisonville sideline to force Hall out of bounds.
They spot him out of bounds at the 40 of the Cassville Wildcats for a pickup of 2. And it'll bring up 3rd down and 9. Harrisonville brings a man in motion. Hall all alone in the backfield this time, and he's going to run. A delayed quarterback keeper, and he is hit and dropped after a short gain. Once again, Hall's a little slow getting up. He's been taking a licking tonight, and it's going to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, Sky Yang stepping up and meeting Hall headlong. Brought him down after a short gain. Nice tackle.
A pickup of 1, and it'll bring up 4th down and 8 at the Cassville 39. Harrisonville's went for it 4 times tonight on 4th down, and they've converted only once. This time pass over the middle, and the intended receiver never turned around. I think he was throwing in the direction of Eli Torres. Closest guy to the ball was Brody McNeil, and the ball went right in between both of them, and Cassville takes over.
Yeah, I think he was expecting one of his guys to run a slant. I mean, the way he threw the football, I think he was expecting a slant route, and it just didn't materialize. And Cassville's going to take over after Harrisonville turns it over on downs. 7:21 to go in the 3rd.
2nd time tonight, Harrisonville has turned it over on downs. Cassville taking over at their own 39.
Hinbest back in at center. Looney trying to go. That ankle just not letting it work.
Stearns will keep the ball himself. Around the right end he goes. He's got yardage, and he picks up the 1st down out to midfield. A good quick hitter on the fake handoff. Stearns tucked it under and run and gains 11.
Yeah, good play there. Nice read. Pulled it out of the fullback's belly. Around the right edge he went. Downfield. 1st down. Nice job.
Wildcat 1st down brought to you by Superior Metal Sales. Find out more online at superiormetalsalesinc.com for examples of what they can custom build for you. Russ Pendergraph is the winner of the Silver Dollar City Pass. Congratulations to Russ, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, congratulations, Rusty.
1st and 10 Wildcats at midfield. Short pickup on 1st down. We got a little pushing and shoving going on downfield, but no flags. As that was Camden Beebe on the carry, and he picks up 1 yard to the Harrisonville 49. Bring up 2nd down and 9. Cassville leading 28-14 as we close in on the midway point of quarter number 3. 6:20 and counting left to go here in the 3rd quarter. Play clock down to 7. Cassville up under center. Stearns with a quick drop. Looks down the sidelines. He's got Bredesen. Bredesen coming back to the football. The ball is tipped. It's bobbled, and it falls incomplete. The defensive back over here, Cooper Baker, nearly went through Bredesen to get to the football, but he did get a hand on it and popped it up into the air to avoid the interference call, and then it was kind of up for grabs for a little while, and nobody could come up with it.
Yeah, Bredesen nearly came up with it at the end of the play. Ball batted around. Bredesen at the end of the play dove just out of reach of his fingertips.
So 3rd down and 9 for Cassville at the Harrisonville 49. Split backfield behind Stearns, fakes the handoff. They try to go back underneath to the cost, but to Beebe, he's got yardage and he's got the first down. Little misdirection by Cassville. They fake it going one way, go back against the grain, and Beebe races down to the 32-yard line and moves the chains.
It's fun watching Beebe run the ball. As soon as he broke out of there, just right down the hash he went at full speed, taking on that contact. Nice play call right there, little wrinkle for the Wildcats to pick up a big first down.
Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in farm buildings. Find out more at SuperiorMetalSalesInc.com. It's a gain of nearly 17 yards on the carry for Beebe. First and 10 Cassville at the Harrisonville 32. Now there goes Stearns again. Stearns has got big yardage. He gets doubled in half at the 20, but hangs on to the football. And another first down for Cassville, brought to you by Superior Metal, SuperiorMetalSalesInc.com. Call 888-364-9527.
Yeah, another nice read there on the play. Fake to Easton Hughes, and around the right edge again goes Stearns. Took a shot at the end of the play. He was able to kind of move his body and not absorb the complete brunt of that, and hops right up. So nice play.
Yeah, the scariest part about that, he got one of his legs kind of caught up underneath him, but he seems to be okay. Back to the three-man backfield behind Stearns. They pitch the ball back to Roark, and a big hole off the left side. Touchdown, Cassville. Right down the seam, and Roark has his third touchdown of the night, his first rushing the football, and Cassville extends their lead.
Wow, and again, little toss sweep around the left edge, two running backs leading the way, and immediately Roark's eyes are up, and he sees the block set up, finds that seam, and hits it right out of the chute. Downfield he goes into the end zone. Nice play.
Preston Driscoll in to attempt the point after. The kick is up, and it is good. He's a perfect 5 for 5 on the night. The 20-yard touchdown run for Colton Roark, and Driscoll with the PAT. The Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance. They're there to help with all your insurance needs, and they've been doing it for over 130 years for auto, home, health, life, and commercial insurance. See the folks at Willis Insurance. Stop by and get a quote today. The Wildcat Extra Point brought to you by Berry Electric Cooperative. Internet reliability in Berry County is spelled Gobeck. 6 plays, 61 yards after they hold Harrisonville on downs, and 20-yard touchdown run from Colton Roark.
Well, the first series didn't go the way the Wildcats wanted it. Second series went exactly how they wanted it. Worked their way down the field, ultimately ending up in a 20-yard run there by Colton Roark. Have a game. Colton Roark, 3 touchdowns and an interception.
Cade Williams in to kick it away. The Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Lane Stubblefield. From one Wildcat to another, Lane wants to be your real estate agent. Find out more online at lane.reesnichols.com. Now the ball is bobbled by Beechner back at the 5, and he goes back to pick it up and takes a knee once again, and Harrisonville going to be pinned deep.
Yeah, he goes back to try to catch the football, and his feet just slid right out from under him, and down he goes. This time, instead of the 11-yard line, it's going to be down at the 7.
He is having some difficult times back there returning kicks.
Well, yeah, and again, as our cameraman said, you know, they've got turf. They're used to playing on turf fields. This is grass, and natural grass, you know, if you're not used to playing on it, it plays a little different. So
and we're getting late enough in the evening. The dew is starting to settle as well, so it's probably getting a little slippery out there in spots. Running back on each hip of Levi Hall, the quarterback, and the snap nearly hits one of those running backs. Hall keeps it and then is leveled by Easton Hughes at the 7.
Hughes flying in there at the end of the play, fired up. This defense playing very physical out there tonight. We've had several hits out there where the crowd acknowledges it, and they've turned up the heat a little bit tonight. They're playing very hard and playing physical.
Second down and 10 after no gain on the carry from Levi Hall. Clock back in motion at 4:20 left to go here in the third quarter. Cassville leading 35-14. They split the backfield this time. Hall up under center, and he's looking to throw. Dumps it down the line of scrimmage. The catch is in and out of the hands of the intended receiver over there, and that was Gavin Thompson.
Thompson, again, just like the previous drive that Harrisonville had, just looked away before he secured the football. went through his hands, hit his chest, straight down to the ground. 3rd and 10 here, ball on the 7-yard line of Harrisonville.
Harrisonville 2 for 6 in the first half on 3rd down conversions. They're 0 for 2 so far here in the second half. Cassville trying to force them to punt the ball deep in their own territory once again. They got twin receivers right and left. Torres in the backfield with Levi Hall. Fakes the handoff to him. Hall rolling to his right, gets out of the end zone. Pass over the middle, caught by Torres at the 15-yard line. He's got some running room, and he's got the first down. He's across the 20, out across the 25, and Harrisonville gets out of a hole.
Yeah, a lot of open field in the middle of the football field right there. Torres just found a soft spot. Hall scrambling to his right near the Wildcat sideline. He saw him, fired it over to the middle of the football field, and they get out of trouble right there and move the chains.
It's a gain of 18 out to the 25-yard line of Harrisonville. 1st and 10 with 3:40 now left to go here in the third quarter. Cassville on top 35-14. Yeah, Torres was in the backfield, just kind of leaked out, and Hall scrambling to his right, found the running back for a first down. Hall looking to throw again, this time the pocket collapsing. He has to step up. Now he's going to have to run. Gets to the Harrisonville sideline and is drugged down out across the 30 at about the 31 by Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, nice job there by Thompson. Didn't try to really make a big hit. He broke down, got a hold of the jersey, and was able to just kind of work his way to the ground with him. Didn't let him loose. A lot of pressure along the defensive line. Got in that backfield and forced Hall out of there. So they're getting after him down there.
They spot his knee down at the 30-yard line for a pickup of 5, and it'll be 2nd down and 5 for Harrisonville. Under 3 minutes now left to go in the third quarter. Levi Hall hands it off into the hands of Moore. Moore gets to the edge, and he's got room, and it's a foot race. One man to beat. Moore is down the sidelines, run down from behind by Carlos Barrientos to keep Isaac Moore from scoring the touchdown.
Well, big play there. Nice hustle by Barrientos. Didn't give up on the play. Ran him down, kept him out of the end zone, but a huge gain there for Harrisonville.
Takes it all the way down to the Cassville 16-yard line. Harrisonville quickly up to the line. They've got 5 receivers in the formation. Now they throw a little screen pass, and it's bobbled and incomplete. In and out of the hands of striker Gilmore.
And Ngotny over there, the corner, did a nice job getting in the middle of that play.
Second down and 10 for Harrisonville. We're down to 2.5 left to go here in the third quarter. Inside the Cassville 20, Levi Hall, does he get the handoff completed? Looks like he did to Moore. And this time Moore, who just had a big run, now is bottled up and dropped for no gain, maybe a loss. It looks like it is going to be a loss of 1, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 11.
Yeah, just they kind of got together, quarterback and running back. There's no separation. The Wildcats just tackle them both.
So another big 3rd down spot here. 3rd down and 11. The ball at the Cassville 17-yard line. Moore in the backfield by himself behind Hall. Man comes in motion. That's Torres. They pitch the ball to Moore. Moore running behind the blocking of Torres. Has to cut back. The Cassville defense cuts him off and drops him back at the 18-yard line. And it's going to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, great pursuit that time. The toss sweep around the right side. Moore trying to get to the edge. That Wildcat defense flying to the football.
They give him a pretty good spot. They give him progress down between the 16 and 17, but it's going to be 4th and 10, and we've got a timeout on the field. Timeout brought to you by Security Bank of Southwest Missouri. Everyone has debit cards, ATMs, mobile banking, but at Security Bank of Cassville, Wheaton, and Exeter, you sit across from a neighbor and a decision maker. They've got all the newest banking features with the same hometown service. Security Bank, member FDIC. Well, a big gain of 54 yards by Isaac Moore has got Harrisonville inside the Cassville 20, but a couple of big defensive stops by the Wildcat defense has Harrisonville facing 4th down and 10. 1:34 left to go here in the third quarter. Cassville leading 35-14. Both teams break huddle, come back out onto the playing surface. Harrisonville 3 for 3 on 4th down tries in the first half, but they have yet to convert a 4th down here in the second half. They have not punted the foot. Well, they have punted once, and that was on that little quick kick. Levi Hall wants to go right, cuts back to his left, loses his footing, and he is going to be dropped all the way back at the 25-yard line. Big loss on the play, and Cassville takes over on downs for the 3rd time tonight.
Yeah, big time pressure. Hall not able to get his feet set. Coverage in the secondary, great, and pressure. Looked like Myers also Sizemore from his defensive tackle position all over Hall and bring him down, and a huge turnover on downs right there. The Wildcats keeping Harrisonville out of the end zone. 1:27 remain in the third. 35-14 Cassville with the football.
That quarterback sack brought to you by Auto Body Solutions at the corner of 86, 76, and 37 in Cassville. They treat you like family. Stop by and see Duel at the Gang at Auto Body Solutions. They go back with the full house backfield, 3 running backs behind Jaron Stearns, and Harrisonville's defense comes swarming in and drops the ball carrier for no gain. And I think that was Stearns faking the handoff and then tried to keep it himself, and it's going to be a loss of a couple of yards. So Pyle pushed backwards. They don't give him the forward progress, and it'll be 2nd down and 12.
Yeah, he's made some good reads on that play tonight. That one he'd like to have it back. Probably should have given the football, but he's had success with that play, getting some nice yardage. This time Harrisonville sniffing it out.
So 2nd down and 12 for Cassville. They keep the 3-back set. They pitch it to Roark. Roark with a couple of blockers in front. Takes it out across the 30. Splits right between 2 defenders. How did he do that? 1st down Cassville all the way to the Harrisonville 45. Well, we've used it already once tonight on a play involving Colton Roark, but I'll use it again. Unbelievable. He was bottled up by 3 defenders at the 35 and somehow slipped right through all 3 of them.
He hit the gas at the right time. He didn't have much of a seam, but he shot right through it, ran through a tackler just at midfield before he was brought down. But what a run there by Roark.
It's a gain of 29, 1st and 10 Cassville at the Harrisonville 48. Stearns hands the ball off on 1st down, and the ball carrier, Mason Bryan, has nowhere to go as the Harrisonville defense was all over him, and it'll move the ball back across midfield into Cassville territory.
Yeah, just trying to run off right tackle right there. And defensive line shot right through the line of scrimmage. Mason Bryan looked up and saw white and blue.
Well, that's the final play of the third quarter, so they'll set the final 12 minutes up on the clock as we head to the fourth. Cassville leading Harrisonville 35-14. We'll be back with the final quarter of play here from Wildcat Stadium. You're listening to Cassville High School football here on the Talon Network. Sammy Clapper and Jeremy Marple back here in Cassville. We head to the fourth quarter. Cassville leading Harrisonville 35-14 on the first play of quarter number 4. There goes Colton Roark again. He splits the seam. He gets to the sidelines, and he is gone. Touchdown, Cassville. Have a night, Colton Roark.
Good night. He picked a nice time to have, I'm going to say, the greatest varsity football night of his career. And what he's doing out here is one of the better ones that's probably been seen on this football field by a Cassville Wildcat. What a game for Colton Roark.
48 yards. Actually, correction, 52 yards because it was on the Cassville 48. And Cassville extends their lead. Snap back, ball down, kick up by Driscoll is good. And it is 42-14 in favor of the home team after the 52-yard touchdown run by Colton Roark, his second rushing touchdown of the night to go along with 2 touchdown receptions, and he is approaching 400 yards of total offense tonight.
That is, I don't care what level you play in, that's impressive. I mean, he has just had a heck of a game. Now, he had, so far this season, he really hadn't got it going out of the backfield. I mean, he hadn't had big stats coming out of the backfield. We know he's capable. We've seen him have some nice numbers in the receiving game, but tonight he's just exploded out of that backfield and also in the receiving game. So, yeah, just what a game.
Yeah, just his rushing and receiving yardage unofficially is over 300 yards, and then he's also had a couple of returns tonight. So now Wildcats will kick it off. The Wildcat touchdown, once again, brought to you by Willis Insurance. If you're at the lake, go by and see the folks at Willis Insurance in the Bridgeway Plaza in Shell Knob. The Wildcat Extra Point brought to you by Berry Electric Cooperative. Internet reliability is spelled Gobeck in Berry County. And the Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Lane Stubblefield with Reese Nichols Realty. Lane.reesenichols.com is the place to go for more information. Kickoff down to the left side, and coming up the hash, the ball carrier for Harrisonville bouncing off Wildcat coverage members, and that was Beechner once again. Fights his way out across the 25 out to about the 26 or 27 yard line.
Well, in the fourth quarter, Wildcats extend their lead 42-14 over Harrisonville. It's been an offensive explosion for these Wildcats.
Yeah, Harrisonville scored on the first play from the second quarter. Cassville strikes early here in the fourth quarter, and they expand their lead. Levi Hall back there with Moore in the backfield. Hall wanted to throw. Now he's going to have to run. Tries to get to the edge and is drugged down and forced out a play by Myers.
Yeah, Myers, nice pursuit. Heading to that sideline with the quarterback. And again, this Cassville defense, again, hasn't been perfect, but it's night and day different than what we've seen early in this football season.
It's a pickup of only a yard, second down and 9. Harrisonville with the ball at their own 28. Just underway here in the fourth quarter. Twin receivers right and left for Harrisonville. Isaac Moore stays in the backfield with Levi Hall. They fake the handoff to him. Pass goes down the line of scrimmage to Torres, and Torres is smacked big time by the Cassville defense. Hangs on to the football and takes it out to the 30-yard line for a gain of 2.
Yeah, Torres, not a big guy. He's young, but he's very fast. He's they have him at 140 pounds. And he just took on Sky Young at 210 pounds and Mason Bryant at 190 pounds. Took the brunt of that and hung on to the ball.
And it's another third down and long facing Harrisonville. Third down and 7, the ball at their own 30. They hand it off to Isaac Moore, and he is hit before he can get back to the line of scrimmage. Spins off contact, may have fought his way back to the 30. They do give him the 30-yard line for no gain on the play, and it'll bring up fourth down.
Yeah, Gunnar Knight and Zach Myers right there to bring him down. And they're going, looks like they're lining up to go for it again, another fourth down.
We saw a little quick kick earlier by Levi Hall, but right now, down by 3 scores and only 10 minutes left, They may be starting to gamble a little bit, although he keeps dropping back a little farther, and he is going to do another little quick kick. High kick, and no one back to return it.
Roll.
Yeah, this one hops at the 35, rolls inside the 30, still rolling, and finally down at the Cassville 28. Actually, they're going to bring it to the 23-yard line. Correction. So the 23-yard line is where Cassville will start with 10 minutes left to play here in the football game. "47-yard kick that time. That forced punt, brought to you by 4 State Dental Care, with 3 locations to better serve the area. They'll ensure your smile at an affordable price at 4 State Dental Care. Cassville takes over at their own 23. The Wildcats hand the ball off, and here comes Camden Beebe around the right end. It takes on contact, runs over the defender, and takes it out to the 35-yard line. He just squared up with Braden Cannably and just run right over him and picks up a first down.
Yeah, Beebe going around that right edge right in front of the Wildcat bench, and he made a decision. I'm not going to be able to get by him, so I'm just going to lower the shoulder and run through him. Woo!
He picks up 12 yards and a Cassville first down. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. Their first in custom ag buildings. Call for a free quote at 888-364-9527. Castleberry and Roark go wide to the left. Wildcats with 5 seconds on the play clock. Hand the ball up the middle. And the ball comes loose as the ball popped out of the hands of Easton Hughes. Harrisonville picks it up, and they return it to the 38-yard line. Third fumble of the night by the Wildcats of Cassville.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the ball came out on the hit or if they just kind of reached in and grabbed it out of there.
Yeah, because it was like he was running one way, and suddenly a Harrisonville guy takes off the other way. It's almost like he took it away from him. So they'll have it at the Cassville 39. First and 10, Harrisonville, after the Cassville turnover. Right up the middle goes Torres, and a quick hitter drives inside the 35. Nope. Keeps his feet underneath him. I thought he was down at the 33, but he bounced outside. And where does he go to? Looks like they're going to spot it at the 34-yard line for a pickup of 5. So second down and 5. As Isaac Moore, the carry on the first play, and now Harrisonville runs the ball straight ahead once again, takes it down to the 23-yard line and picks up a first down.
Clock ticking under 9 minutes remaining in this one.
First and 10 at the Cassville 27-yard line. Torres, the ball carrier, trying to run off right tackle. And Eli Torres is stacked up. It's going to be no gain on the play and bring up second down and 10.
Zach Myers shed his block, got the arms around the ball carrier, drove him backwards. Nice play along that defensive line.
8 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. Cassville leading 42-14. Second down and 10, Harrisonville inside the Cassville 30-yard line. Levi Hall with Isaac Moore in the backfield. Fakes the handoff to him, wants to throw. Now he sidearms it. Catch is made over on the Harrisonville sideline.
Almost looked kind of strange there.
It was Keller Johnson.
Looked like he was expecting something downfield to come open and had to kind of check back down. And like you said, he just kind of like a second baseman throwing to the shortstop to turn two, just sidearmed it out there in the flat.
It was a gain of 3 to Keller Johnson. It'll bring up third down. Boy, Harrisonville has seen more than their share of third downs tonight. Split backfield, Hall up under center this time. Fakes it to Torres, pitches it to Moore, and he is hit by Easton Hughes. He's going to be dropped for no gain. He fights his way back to the 24, maybe, And it'll bring up 4th down.
Hughes fired through there. Hit him around the waist. Wasn't able to make the tackle, but slowed him way down. 4 or 5 black and gold jerseys fly to the football there to bring him down. Wow.
We're under 7 minutes now left to play here in the 4th quarter. Cassville leading 42-14, and Harrisonville again going to go for it here in Cassville territory. They've got a pair of running backs, Moore and Torres in the backfield, and now they call for a timeout. Stops the clock with 6:45 left to play 4th quarter. Timeout on the field is brought to you by Security Bank of Southwest Missouri. Take time out to look at Security Bank, member FDIC. We'll check out the Jimmy Mitchell Motors scoreboard. Jimmy Mitchell Motors in downtown Aurora. Visit their website for all of their inventory, whether new or used vehicles, at jimmymitchell.com. Monette leads McDonald County. Last score we got was early in the second half, 36-18. Seneca pulls away from Aurora in the second half. Indians over the Hound Dogs 50-7. Third quarter score, Mount Vernon shutting out Lamar 21-0. Nevada leads East Newton 20-0. Marionville all over Diamond 63-0. And the last score we got from Pierce City at Skyline, it was 6-0. The Tigers with the lead over the Eagles, but that was back in the first half. Hopefully we can get an update on that one before we get out of here tonight. 4th down and 8 facing Harrisonville just inside the Cassville 25-yard line. Harrisonville with a lot of success on 4th down in the first half, but not so here in the second half. And due to the situation on the scoreboard, they're going to be forced to go for it once again. They've already turned it over on downs 3 times tonight. Can Cassville stop them again and get the football back? Unbalanced left. Got a man in the slot that direction. They're going to run that way. Levi Hall runs the option. Pitches to Torres. Torres inside the 20 and is brought down at about the 19.
He's going to be short.
That's going to be short, though. He needed to get down to about the 16 or 17 to pick up the first down. They spot him down just inside the 19 after a gain of 6. And for the 4th time tonight, Cassville holds on 4th down.
Yeah, really nice job there again. Torres taking a lick down there at the end of that run.
So Cassville takes over at their own 19-yard line with 6.5 minutes left to go in the football game. Cassville leading Harrisonville 42-14. .42 points. Most points scored by Cassville so far this year. They stay with the full house backfield, going to try to run. Colton Roark with a blocker in front, has the first down, picks up more across the 35, finally raced down out around the 40-yard line. He was having to shove his blockers out of the way. He was saying, let's get going, boys. Yeah. I got a lot of green grass in front of me.
He's having a little trouble staying up on his feet. Nice balance there. But yeah, you're right. Had that right hand out on the hip of one of his lead blockers. And another big gain there by Roark. And that toss sweep, the Wildcats have had tons of success with it tonight.
Wildcat first down, once again brought to you by Superior Metal Sales. Visit them online, see what they can custom build for you. SuperiorMetalSalesInc.com. Gain of 18 for Roark. And a first down for Cassville. And they are going to become a little more deliberate now and slow things down.
I think they're going to bring another offensive unit on the field.
As they let the play clock wind down, they, I think, took a timeout to allow a new offensive unit to come in. The starters get the glad hand from the Cassville faithful here in attendance tonight, as they have put 42 points up on the board against Harrisonville. And now the second unit's going to come in, 1st and 10 at their own 37.
Yeah, big time performance by the starters tonight for the Wildcats. They came out and took care of business. I got to be honest, I don't think the Harrisonville Wildcats at 4-0 after a big win over Warrensburg last week thought they were going to come down and run into this tonight. A very motivated Cassville Wildcat football team is what they came down here and ran into tonight.
Yeah, the Wildcats of Cassville definitely re-energized tonight, and you could see it from the outset just with the aggressiveness and the hustle and the determination. It was right there at the beginning of the football game, and it's carried on throughout the evening. So we'll try to get some of the new names and numbers from the players that are in for Cassville right now. The new quarterback for the home team is Caleb Arthurton. And we've got on the carry Braden Sizemore, and he is stopped for no gain, and it'll bring up second down.
And this is a nice situation for the second string guys to get in, get some time on the field on Friday night. Main thing here for young quarterback Arthurton is just manage this thing, manage the play clock, execute the plays.
Receivers right and left. Cassville going to run the football again. This time the running back is hit in the backfield, but he fights forward for extra yardage. And we'll see. That time it was Logan Parsons on the carry. He picks up a couple of yards out to the 39, and it'll bring up third down and 8.
Yeah, ran into some resistance right at that line of scrimmage. Parsons being physical himself, running hard. Yeah, keep in mind that Harrisonville didn't bring everybody down here. They only brought 35 players, and so they've still got the main guys out on defense.
We're down to 4:45 left to play in the football game. Cassville leading 42-14, facing third down and 8. Cassville's got the second unit in, and Arthurton hands the ball off, stacked up at the line of scrimmage, is the ball carrier for the Cassville Wildcats. And that was Parsons once again. He is dropped for no gain, and it'll bring up fourth down. And for the first time tonight, Cassville's going to have to punt the football.
Yeah, they certainly bring the first team punt unit. Special teams is one thing. You're going to keep your starters in on special teams. But young guys got a chance. Hey, this is what it's like on Friday night. This is where you've got to get to play on Friday night.
Braden Kniebley along with, trying to see the other number over there, awaiting the kick of Colton Roark. Snaps a little low. Roark gets the kick away, angles it away from the return men, and they let it roll, and it goes all the way inside the 20 back to the 24-yard line. Good punt there by Roark. He got the nice roll of about 20 yards after it hit the ground, and Harrisonville's going to start back at their own 24.
Yeah, the ball kind of, I don't think he caught it real clean on the foot. Kind of came off of it funny, but hit the ground at the right angle and got a nice roll down there. Under 4 minutes remain here in this one. A lot of new faces defensively for the Wildcats out on the field now.
37-yard kick, no return. First and 10, Harrisonville. Levi Hall brings his team back up to the line of scrimmage. Torres and Moore in the backfield. Man comes in motion. Hall takes the snap, fakes the pitch, and keeps it, and he's wrapped up and dropped for a loss by Brody Howell. As he come blasting through, grabbed the Harrisonville quarterback and took him to the ground.
Nice play. Got off his block, got in the backfield, right there around the quarterback and brought him down. Great play.
They move it back to the 21 for a loss of 3. Second down and 13 now facing Harrisonville. Hall from the shotgun this time as we approach 3 minutes left to play in the football game. Cassville leading 42-14. Hall looking to throw, slings it down the far side. He's got the man Johnson open, and he drops the football. He had gotten behind the cornerback, and Keller Johnson could not make the reception.
The corner had lost his footing out there. He was running stride for stride, and the ball was put in a great spot. Just dropped, and we've seen about 3 drops out of this Harrisonville receiver group tonight.
It'll bring up third down and 13. Harrisonville still looking for their first third down conversion of the second half. Incomplete pass stops the clock with 2:52 left to go in the football game. Cassville on top, 42-14. They reset Gilmore around to the right side. Hall scrambling to his left, sets up and launches, looking for Johnson again, and also downfield is Moore, and Isaac Moore nearly come up with a great diving reception as the ball went over the head of Keller Johnson, And Gavin Moore nearly caught it, but it goes off his fingertips, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, diving attempt right in front of the Wildcat bench. But 4th and about 14. We'll see what Harrisonville does right here.
A lot of new faces in on the defensive side of the football for Cassville as well. And Harrisonville snaps it back, and it's a little quick kick by Levi Hall. Bounces at the Cassville 44 and takes a Harrisonville roll inside the 35 down to the 33.
2.5 minutes remaining when Wildcats will take over here.
Again, that forced punt brought to you by Four State Dental Care, building beautiful smiles in Southwest Missouri with 3 locations to better serve you. They have in-house insurance and benefit plans that ensure your smile will be beautiful at an affordable price. So Cassville will take over at their own 33 with 2:34 left to go in the ball game. Cassville leading 42-14. .46-yard kick, no return, and Cassville lining up right now in the victory formation. And snap goes into the hands of Arthurton, and he takes the knee. Harrisonville has only 1 timeout, but down by 3 scores. They are not likely to use it. And Cassville's just going to let some clock run. They'll be milking every second they can get off of it. Trouble is, I don't think they might be able to run out the clock, but with 2.5 minutes,
that's tough.
That's tough to do it on 4 downs. They're going to let the play clock go all the way down to 2 seconds, snap it again, take a knee. Play clock resets for 40, and now it's put back in motion. So that'll get us down to about a minute left to go in the football game before Cassville has to snap it again. You could start to see, and that's what you were talking about with Harrisonville only bringing down the varsity and not a lot of reserve players. You could start to see a little fatigue factor in the 4th quarter.
Sure.
And, of course, what Cassville's doing right now, try to shorten the game and keep everyone healthy. Both teams.
100%. Yeah, at this point, I mean, there's no need to do something crazy out here.
They snap the ball one more time, and we'll see how quickly they put the play clock back in. And they start it with 1:02 left to go. So Cassville's going to have to snap it one more time, and Harrisonville will get the football back, but there will be just about 20 seconds left is all. So right now the Wildcats just letting the play clock tick away. There's about a 20-second differential between the play clock and the game clock, a little over 20 seconds actually.
Game clock at 30 seconds now. 5 on the play clock.
So one more snap, and Harrisonville will take over on downs. At the Cassville, looks like where are they going to put it? At the 26-yard line. Looks like they'll have it at the 26 with 25 seconds remaining.
Wildcats, you got to have a defense out there. Everyone came to the sideline, but there's 25 seconds remaining.
So Harrisonville breaks huddle, comes up to the line of scrimmage. 25.5 seconds remaining. Cassville leading 42-14. Harrisonville 1st and 10 at the Cassville 26. Levi Hall up under center. We'll see if they reciprocate the hospitality. Levi Hall's going to run the football, tries to bounce it to the outside, and is brought down after a short gain as he got hit hard and was thrown backwards. He was able to fight forward to about the 24 maybe. We'll see where they spot his forward progress. And the final seconds ticking away, and Harrisonville will not snap the football again.
That's your senior quarterback, and you're running a play after the team just downed it 4 times for you. Now he's limping over to the sideline, because he had about 5 of these Wildcat defenders bring him down right there. I just don't understand that. Take the knee, get on the bus.
It was a gain of 2 on that final play, and Cassville victorious as they hand Harrisonville their first loss of the year. Cassville improves to 2-3 as they knock off the Wildcats from up north, 42-14. We'll step aside, be back with the Heritage Tractor postgame show. You're listening to Cassville High School football here on the Talon Network. Score of any athletic event is generally forgotten over time, but the actions of players, coaches, and spectators leave lasting impressions. The next time you attend a high school game, think of how history will remember you. Choose good sportsmanship and help rekindle the spirit of citizenship. Remember, the lessons you teach today will help develop better citizens for our communities tomorrow. That sportsmanship reminder brought to you by Access Family Care, with locations in Cassville, Neosho, Aurora, Mount Vernon, and Joplin. Cassville victorious over Harrisonville tonight in the Battle of Wildcats, 42-14. Cassville picking up their second win of the year as they jumped on top 14-0 early in the football game. Harrisonville rallied and scored 2 second-quarter touchdowns to tie the game at 14 apiece, but then Cassville closed out the first half with 2 touchdowns in the final 4 minutes to lead 28-14 at the break. And then in the second half, it was all Cassville. 4:53 left to go in quarter number 3. Colton Roark on a 2-yard run extended Cassville's lead to 35-14. And then the final touchdown of the night, early in the fourth quarter, a 52-yard run by Roark, his 4th touchdown of the night, 2 receiving and 2 rushing. PAT by Driscoll, our final score of 42-14 Cassville.
That may have been a 20-yard run, and I just wrote it down incorrectly.
Well, let me check real quickly here. It was a 20-yard run.
I don't remember any short plunges.
Yeah, that's
tonight,
right.
But just big plays.
I just looked at my play chart, and it was a 20-yard touchdown run, so you are correct.
My apologies.
No worries at all. But a big win tonight, and as you talked about, frustration from last week at Lamar when there were so many opportunities to go on the road and defeat a very good Tiger team on their home field. And I think some of that pent-up frustration came out tonight, and it was given all to the Harrisonville Wildcats.
You know, outside of 2 pass plays, and give Harrisonville credit for executing on the pass plays, outside of that, this defense and 1 long run, this defense looked really good tonight. I mean, they were physical. They were flying. You said the word hustle. They hustled all over the field, flying to the ball, aggressive, and they tackled. And what was the main key to victory tonight?
Tackling.
And they did it tonight. Boy.
Yeah, and
they got after it.
They were hitting some people too.
Yes.
There was a lot of physicality coming from the black and gold tonight, that's for sure. Well, we're going to jump into the Heritage Tractor post-game show. Heritage Tractors, your local John Deere dealer. They offer new and used equipment from your backyard to your farm or for your ranch. They've got equipment ranging from construction and compact utility tractors to lawnmowers and recreational vehicles, and they work hard to find the right products for you. Heritage Tractor, you can stop by or visit them online at heritagetractor.com. 42-14, Cassville victorious tonight over Harrisonville. Looking at some of the final team stats from tonight's football game. Harrisonville unofficially 42 carries for 136 yards on the ground. They were 10 of 21 through the air for 161 yards for a total of 297 on the offensive side. Harrisonville picking up 12 first downs. They had 1 turnover. That was on an interception. They were penalized 8 times for 55 yards, and they punted twice for 46 yards. Cassville, 29 carries for 242 yards on the ground, 4 of 5 through the air for 210 yards for 452 yards of offense. Wildcats of Cassville picked up 16 first downs. They overcame 3 lost fumbles tonight. They were penalized 3 times for 20 yards and punted only once for 37 yards on the night.
Yeah, just a great performance. Defensively, you give up less than 300 yards to an opposition, a 4-0 team coming down here. Give up less than 300 yards, and you put up over 450. That's a pretty good performance. Offensively, they exploded out here. But again, the thing that I'm happy about is the way they played on the defensive side of the ball tonight.
Looking at some of the other scores around the area, we check out the Jimmy Mitchell Motors area scoreboard. Jimmy Mitchell Motors in downtown Aurora. They're your Ford dealer here in southwest Missouri. JimmyMitchell.com is the place to go to check out their inventory of new and used vehicles. That's Jimmy, MICHEL.com, or drop by their lot and showroom at 555 South Elliott Avenue in Aurora, Missouri. Monette leading McDonald County, but the last score we had was early in the second half. The Cubs over the Mustangs 36-18. One game in the Big 8 has gone final besides this one, and Seneca at home defeats Aurora 57-7. Mount Vernon hanging on to a 21-0 lead at home over Lamar. Nevada 20-0 over East Newton. Marionville blasting Diamond 63-0. And still, we have not got an update from that Pierce City Skyline. It was 6-0 Skyline, and that game has not been updating for us tonight. Again, those are the area scores tonight on the Jimmy Mitchell Motors Scoreboard Show. Cassville wins at 42-14 here tonight at Wildcat Stadium. We'll step aside, continue on with the Heritage Tractor postgame show. You're listening to Cassville High School football here on the Talon Network. Back with you in Cassville. Cassville defeating Harrisonville tonight, 42-14. Looking at some of the individual numbers from tonight's ball game. For the Harrisonville Wildcats, their quarterback Levi Hall was their second leading ball carrier, 38 yards on 22 carries. It was Isaac Moore, the leading ball carrier for the Harrisonville Wildcats, 67 yards unofficially on 11 carries on the night. And Eli Torres had 22 yards on 8 carries. It was Keller Johnson, 2 catches for 17 yards. Torres had 2 catches for 20 yards. And, Striker Gilmore led the way tonight with 5 catches, 115 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Harrisonville. For the Cassville Wildcats, Jaron Stearns carried for 42 yards on 5 carries. Easton Hughes had 2 rushing touchdowns and 22 yards on the ground on 8 carries. Camden Beebe had 32 yards on 4 carries. And Colton Roark, 138 yards unofficially on the ground on 6 carries and 2 touchdowns. Mace Bredesen had 1 catch for 36 yards, and Roark continued the offense through the air as he had 3 catches for 174 yards and 2 touchdowns. Over 300 yards of total offense for Colton Roark tonight and 4 scores.
Was that on 9 touches?
Yes, it was.
9 touches. And over 300 yards of offense.
And 4 touchdowns.
That's pretty impressive.
That's that's got the numbers pretty good swaying in your favor there for sure. Well, we'll be handing out our post-game awards here shortly. We're also going to visit with the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Clay Weldy. But before we get to that, we need to take another timeout. We'll be back with more here from Cassville. Back with you here at Cassville. Now time for the post-game interview with head coach Clay Weldy. And that commercial that ended just there was perfect timing, as the post-game interview with Coach Weldy brought to you by the law office of John A. Lee Wright. They proudly support the Wildcats, and they want you to remember, if you don't talk, you may walk, and to call 417-847-2177. Coach, appreciate the time as always here in the post-game. Congratulations, an impressive victory tonight over Harrisonville, 42-14.
Thank you, Sammy.
Well, you got off to a good start right out of the box. Both sides of the football was playing very aggressive, very physical. You scored two quick touchdowns early on, but you knew Harrisonville, a good team, was going to battle back. They did. They come back and get the game tied, but then Cassville responds with two more touchdowns late in the first half, take the lead into the locker room, and it was all Cassville in the third and fourth quarters.
I mean, this is a very good win for us. Harrisonville came in 4-0. They had won all their games and been playing really well, and all week we thought we had a good practice, but you never know until you play somebody. And I thought our schedule we've had such a tough early schedule. We played 3 ranked teams, and Easton's also a very tough team. I thought our schedule prepped us for this. We were playing somebody we don't see. We only seen the last 2 years, and I thought we played very physical tonight. I thought we tackled way better than we had all year. I thought we were very good up front on both sides of the ball, and I was very proud of how hard our kids played tonight.
I know you and we used the word a couple of times tonight talking about the game last week, and you and I used it in the coaches' interviews. It was a frustrating loss to Lamar last week, and it was almost like some of those frustrations had built up during the week, and they took it out on Harrisonville tonight.
Yeah, we've had several games this year. We've been riding the game and against really good teams, and go back, and it's mistakes that we made, and we talked about. We had to find a way to alleviate those mistakes and take care of it. I thought tonight we still have mistakes, but I thought we didn't have as many as we had. We thought we played more efficiently and better on both sides of the ball.
It's not many nights where you're able to fumble the ball 3 times and overcome those 3 turnovers, but your defense did an outstanding job. They bent a couple of times in the first half, but really cleaned things up in the second half, and you took them off the field on downs 4 times tonight.
Yeah, and that's been big. We've really struggled defensively this year to get off the field. I don't know how many times we have had 4th down conversions this year, and they had a few tonight, but we were getting off the field, especially second half. We made some adjustments at halftime. Coach Floyd did a good job, and his staff of making some adjustments and getting on the field, and we were able to extend the lead there. So I was very proud of our defensive effort. The thing we talked about all week was if we could just tackle, we'd be so much better. Just that change one thing, just build a tackle better. We've missed so many tackles this year that's led to 3rd down conversions, 4th down conversions. Tonight, I thought we tackled way better.
Yeah, because they have a lot of athletes, both at the receiver position and coming out of the backfield, and you got to get to them, and when you get to them, you got to bring them down, and Cassville was able to do that tonight.
Yeah, we were worried to death at their quarterback. He was, on every film we had, he was running around, making plays, extending plays in the passing game, and he made a couple of good plays tonight. Had some good throws in the first half, those 2 touchdown passes, but I thought for the most part, we did a good job kind of containing him and those athletes.
Well, you look at the offensive side, Stearns and Bryan and Hughes were doing a lot of the damage early on the ground. Easton Hughes with 2 more touchdowns rushing tonight. He's only played 2 games coming out of the backfield, and he's already got 4 scores. But then things picked up with the passing game with some big completions to Roark and Bredesen in the first half, and then that continued in the second half for Colton Roark. What a night, over 300 yards of total offense, running and receiving, and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I thought this is the best I've seen him play. He had – he's been good for us his whole career and had a good year so far this year, but he kind of went to a different level tonight. He made an unbelievable pick in the first half and right before halftime, and 2 plays later has a big post play, cuts for a touchdown. It seems like every game he's making big plays, and tonight, we get the ball in his hands, and he's running over people, he's catching balls, he does so much, and like we talked beforehand, most time he gets on the field, he's probably the best athlete in the field. He's a state champion wrestler. 3-sport kid. I mean, he's just a really good athlete and had a very good night tonight.
Going back to your defense, you talked about the interception for Roark to go along with all those gaudy offensive numbers we talked about. But I thought your guys up front really did a nice job controlling things down in the line of scrimmage. You were getting a lot of penetration into the backfield, kind of messing up when especially they were bringing guys in motion and trying to run some off-tackle stuff. And that freed up your linebackers. Bryan, Hughes, and Thompson had a great night tonight tackling.
Yeah, and I thought this is the best we played up front both sides of the ball this year. I thought defensively, last week we struggled against Lamar, and I thought we didn't play very well. And tonight, we're getting penetration. We're making plays in the backfield. Linebackers are flying downhill. we attacked tonight, and it was nice to see that. We have not done a good job of that all year, and I thought tonight it was really good job we did. And then offensively, I thought, our big boys did a good job attacking those their 3 down linemen, and when they brought their linebackers up, we did a good job with that. Thought our tight end did a good job blocking. I just thought we just did a way better job across the board.
A big win tonight over Harrisonville, 42-14. You stay at home next week. You're back into Big 8 conference play. Mount Vernon Mountaineers are coming to town. They were struggling earlier in the season. They had a couple of returners with the 2 Hunter boys, Conway and Dawson, but then they had a lot of new players that they were plugging in, getting a lot of youth put in, and they have kind of been feeling their way along. They won last week over East Newton, and they beat Lamar tonight at home in Mount Vernon, so they're going to be coming into town with some momentum as well.
Yeah, and Coach Cox and Coach Johnson over there always did a great job, and we knew that playing them later in the year with these new guys, it'd be a better team than what they were early. And so it's going to be a tough fight. I told the guys afterwards, I had no idea what happened in their game tonight. I just found out just now. But I said, they're going to be well coached. They're going to play hard. It's always a good game when we play Mount Vernon. And so it'd be nice to have them at home. We think we play better at home too, so hopefully find a way to get a win there.
Yeah, they're another one of those teams with a dual-threat quarterback. He can throw, he can run, and then they got the big guy coming out of the backfield, so you got to be ready for everything.
Yeah, and they had that Felton kid that plays receiver. He's a good player too. So, and Coach Johnson knows it's a good job defensively. They're always going to attack and be very sound, and Coach Cox is going to spread the ball around and get you formations and stuff. So, be a really tough task for us.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time here in the postgame as always. Congratulations on the win. We'll catch up with you again next week.
Thanks, Sammy.
Hey, Coach Clay Weldy here on the postgame interview, and it's brought to you by the Law Office of John A. Leewright. They proudly support the Wildcats, and their professional personnel believe in your rights to a fair hearing and representing you with the utmost expertise, integrity, and excellence. Phone the Law Office of John A. Leewright at 847-2177. We'll step aside, be back to hand out our postgame awards, and wrap things up here in Cassville. Saw the receiver underneath him, but he let it sail.
Well, at first I thought he ran past the line of scrimmage.
If he throws it on a line like he was earlier, he probably completes it, or at least thrower's going to knock it down. It's not picked off.
It's close to the line.
If it was college or NFL, they'd probably replay it to see if he had, because when he landed, he was on the sideline.
I think he was good. He landed on his back. See that? That's a good catch.
All right, back in Cassville once again here on the Heritage Tractor postgame show. Heritage Tractor, your local John Deere dealer with locations all around the area. It's a great time of year to buy a tractor. Stop in for great deals and low financing at Heritage Tractor. Our postgame awards, first up, our hard hit of the night. For any and all of your ready mix, stone, or aggregate needs, stop by Berry County Ready Mix. They're the sponsor of our hard hit. They're located in Shell Knob, Cassville, and Eagle Rock, and you can call their Cassville office for a free estimate at 847-3200. That's 847-3200. Our hard hit of the night, we had several candidates. Andon Gautney and Zach Myers both had some big hits in the first half, but the one that stood out that got some oohs and ahs from the crowd, and he almost decleated him as he hit him hard and took him down, and it was Easton Hughes, a hit on the quarterback Levi Hall, and he gets our hard hit of the night.
Yeah, that was a tough one tonight because there was so much of it going on out there. And, you know, some of it we can't really tell who it was a lot of times if it's across the field in traffic, but there was a lot of pad pop, a lot of physical football out there tonight.
Our Wildcat Player of the Game is brought to you by Fast Trip. Whether for fuel, grocery items, fountain drinks, ice cream, snacks, or more, Fast Trip has it all and at the very best prices. They're located at 104 South Main in Cassville, locally owned by Mike and Anita Carr, and if there was any question, it's Colton Roark. Over 135 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, over 170 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns, over 310 yards of total offense, 4 touchdowns, and to go along with that, he had an interception as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's as good a high school individual performance as I think you'll see. I mean, that was awesome.
Again, our player of the game is Colton Roark, and it's brought to you by Fast Trip at 104 South Main in Cassville. Great prices and friendly service is what you'll find at Fast Trip. Stop by today, locally owned by Mike and Anita Carr. Checking out the Jimmy Mitchell Motor scoreboard one more time before we get out of here. Well, it's late in the football game. Monette leading over McDonald County 44-26, but that one has not gone final yet. Other Big 8 games that have gone final, Seneca defeats Aurora 57-7. Mount Vernon stuns Lamar at Mountaineer Stadium 21-0, and Nevada knocks off East Newton 41-7. Marionville was running away from Diamond, didn't get a score on that one in the fourth quarter, and never could get that Pierce City Skyline score to update for us. Unfortunately, last we heard Skyline was winning 6-0, but that was early in the first half. But Seneca remains unbeaten. Mount Vernon stuns the Big 8 with a win over Lamar, and Nevada keeps pace with Seneca as they pick up a win as well after they lose to Seneca in that wild one with all of the offense, but they do jump back and pick up a win tonight over East Newton.
Yeah, some interesting scores. You know, as you said, the Mount Vernon-Lamar score is a lot of people want to know how that went down. I mean, not that they won. Mount Vernon, you know, on their
the
home
shutout
field,
is what
it's the goose egg they put up. Defensively is what I'm curious about, but some good games around the conference and really fun one that we watched here tonight.
It definitely was. A lot of big plays, a lot of offense, some great defense, and Cassville comes up with a victory over Harrisonville here this evening. Well, that's going to wrap up our coverage of the Cassville Wildcats here tonight, week number 5. We move into the second half next week as week number 6 is coming right around the corner.
And it's homecoming. Big homecoming game for the Wildcats.
The Mount Vernon Mountaineers will be coming to town. They've won 2 in a row now after that victory tonight over Lamar. So Mount Vernon coming to Cassville next Friday night. We'll invite you along for that one here on the Talon Network. I'd like to thank all the folks here at Cassville for all the hospitality as always. Athletic Director Lance Parnell and all of his staff. We appreciate all of their help. Also thanks to Coach Weldy for coming up and visiting with us here in the postgame. We always appreciate his time also. And thanks to all of our sponsors for helping support tonight's coverage, whether web TV or radio. They are the folks that help us get these games out on the airwaves. Thank them so very much for helping support our coverage in Cassville High School athletics. Thanks to Dwayne and Janet for keeping an eye on the studio and everything back at the station, and they'll be back with us next week as well. Also appreciate Todd for running the camera for us and taking care of the computer on Cassville Web TV. He'll be back next Friday also here on the Talon Sports Network. Once again, our final score, Cassville victorious over Harrisonville, 42-14 in the Battle of Wildcats. Speaking for Todd and Jeremy, this is Sammy Clapper saying thanks so much for joining us, and good night from Wildcat Stadium.